you have a specific daily loss limit that you're using, daily profit target that you're looking at? How are you approaching this?
So I'm just gonna go back from square one, from the very beginning, and just start off from there. So, shout out to one of our slow market viewers. They were able to find this playlist. Like, take a look at this playlist. They put it together. I'm happy. I did a whole strategy week, and they were able to find 7 of those videos. So big shout out to I think it's By Playtime is the person. And so if you click on that link, that's a list of like 7 of those videos. I broke down how I'm trading, and it's crazy to think that was a year ago. So
Okay.
I took some time. I watched them, and I'm like, there's not really much changed outside of like my mindset, how I'm viewing it, and how I'm managing the trade, and just getting back to the basics. I've been overcomplicating it a little bit too much, and so I need to get back to those basics. And I'll copy that link in a few times while we have audience members coming in, audience members coming out. But yeah, it was a nice refresher to go back through and see those and see. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being live. It's like a journal, right? You go back through your journal and see what you're
Yeah.
doing, see what you changed. And so the plan with these combines, this is number one. Number one and number 5, it's a copy trade. Some traders might look at it, this is just one combine because you're trading one account and it's being copied about 5. The majority said it's 5 because it's 5 transactions. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The idea is that this is my first shot back into the combine. I closed my live account officially today. I should get a check in the mail or ACH into my bank account for whatever was left over. And so that's going to be nice. I'm just going to use that. And I don't get a discount. I don't get any bonus, Jay. We don't get any benefits. We pay full price. We pay the full sticker price just like everybody else. And so I'm going
I
to,
think people are surprised by that.
yeah, I don't get it. I think they're just so used to everyone else online getting all these free accounts and free resets and just the switching. And it's like, yeah, well, I blew this one. We'll just load up 20 more, blow that one, load up 20 more. And they just lack that responsibility, right? And so that's kind of where the idea this morning came from, the combine counter. And so, yeah, I know it's very surprising. It sucks, but sometimes that's what you have to do, right? The reality is, and this is perfect segue into one of my favorite books, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And sometimes the hardest path is the right path. And instead of avoiding the obstacle and instead of avoiding what you kind of don't want to do, it is usually the better thing to do and the one that's able to improve yourself. And so now this doesn't mean it's like, yeah, I'm not profitable. I'm no longer going to be able to making any money. How can I survive? Can I pay my rent? Can I do this? No, that is completely a different conversation because I'm a stock trader. I'm an options trader. That's my primary income. Coach Jay, I don't know if you remember, but maybe I should just sit down and do an interview, have it videoed, and we could just have a link instead of repeating so often. But purely started out trading at Top Step just to show that I could do this as a coach. I never wanted to, I never was like, my plan was never to trade these accounts at Top Step. It was just to come on, work as a coach, help traders, and build the program out. But one thing led to another. Those who can't teach, or what was it? Those that can't do teach. I'm like, okay, I'll trade it. Here we are, just over a year and a half later, a little less than $500,000, and I'm showing this. I could, give or take. I want to teach by doing. I'm not the best trader. I'm not the best teacher, but hopefully it gives an example for those that are new, who's entering this industry for the first time, learning, and be able to learn through watching, right? Everyone learns in their own different ways. Some learn by watching, some learn by listening, some learn by doing. And hopefully I could set a decent example. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it takes me 50 accounts Maybe it takes me 100 accounts. And hopefully I could show everything, or I will show everything. And sometimes it's going to suck. But, maybe, Coach Jay, maybe it just takes me one try.
I mean, it very well could. Like you said, today was a pretty good start to those accounts. So, and we know you're a good trader. So let's
Yeah.
just see.
Should we just get to it, Coach Jay? Let me get.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Top
We
step.
got some questions in the chat. I'll answer them for you.
Yeah, while I get a few things set up.
Why did Dakota close his live account? It was clearly documented that throughout this year, Dakota was struggling in that live account. So he made the decision that he was going to close it. Did not lose the full balance. Did take a withdrawal from the remaining balance that was there,
Correct.
and is going to start over from the beginning.
Yep,
That's really it. That's all it is.
It's not as complex as what people think. I took that big $250,000 payout at the beginning of the year, and then I've had down months, I've had up months. Unfortunately, the past 3 months I've struggled the most. I had conversation with the risk team, and they're like, just hey, let's just. It's probably best to lead by example. It's just like withdraw your account, start over from Combine, figure out what's going on, and just start fresh. And so I've stated that, and like you said, it's been very straightforward and clear. It's just unfortunate, all of the misinformation that, that gets out there on the social media.
I don't.
Of all that.
At this point, Dakota, I don't call it misinformation. I call it intentional discreditation of someone's. People intentionally try to discredit things. We can't focus on that. Yeah. So focus on the goal ahead, and that is all we can do.
Yeah. A lot of those people need to take a big look at the mirror too, for sure.
Or don't.
sure.
Or don't. Don't look at the mirror.
Don't look at the mirror. Just keep going.
The reflection is the same whether you look at it or not.
So yeah, I started it today. Had a great day, and the plan with this is just to trade it on air. I'm not going to be placing any trades behind the scenes. Everything shared. And I liked what you did, Coach Jay. And I think I'm going to do the same. So over here in these settings, I'm going to go ahead and click on share. I'm going to copy this link, and I'm going to share this. And I'm going to share it to everybody here on the YouTube chat. If you want to see does it stay sharing for as long as I have it?
Yeah, as long as you leave that share radio button selected, it'll continue to share. So someone can bookmark that if they wanted to and just check in every day on how you did. But yeah, as long as you leave that share button selected there, it'll
there we go.
It'll
there
share.
We go. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Why not? I don't see a reason why not. And then I'll post it through the social media so that everyone can follow along. So no trades taken off air. Everything's going to be taken on air. Talk about it, and slow markets, fast markets, power hour. Whenever I'm on camera, I'm going to be able to show it, and that's amazing feature here at Top Step A. That's a cool one.
Yeah, honestly, it's part of the reason why I shared it because we are on air so much. But sometimes there are going to be trades that I take off air, right? So we can look and see, if someone wanted to, they can just look and see the results from there. Just in the event that I'm not on air and I see a trade opportunity that I want to take in these accounts, it's shared from there.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. I like it. It's a great feature. It doesn't get utilized enough, and I think that's a good example that we could use to highlight it and show the transparency. I don't think there's another person out there on social media that's who would be willing to do that. Is there? Or am I wrong?
I mean, hey, I'm sure there is. I see some people out there sharing their brokerage accounts and things like that. So there are some good players out there for sure.
Yeah. As rare.
I like to focus on the light.
All right, Jay. Okay. Yeah, we could take many routes here, but yeah, I like it. That's the plan. Sharing everything, and then there's another question is, can you could withdraw 100% of your live account, and the answer is yes. Once you've shown 30 days of consistent trading, you can withdraw 100% of your account balance. That's always been here at Top Step. I've been able to withdraw 100% of my balance since, I got this account last year, since 1 month, right? 30 days after that. So, yeah, that's as surprising as that is. It's a very important thing that we can do here in the live account. But the thing is, you can't just like, hey, I made all this money and I'm making money in the live, and I just withdraw 100% and I go back to Combine. No, because that would be more of like gaming the system, right? It's like there needs to be a conversation with the risk management team, and I believe should be a reason why you would have to go back, right? For my example, it's like, hey, I'm struggling. I've been losing some money. I've taken a payout. The best course of action is to go back to a Combine account instead of just continuing to lose money. I'd rather lose sim money than real money. And then once I get better and I'm able to show that consistency again, then I could work my way back to a live account.
Yep. I see some comments in the chat saying, wasn't Top Step against taking out the full balance of your account?
No.
Talking about people gaming the system. How many times can you go back to live? Here's the thing, right? If you're able to withdraw your entire account balance, you still need 30 profitable days, right? So if Top Step had an issue with somebody withdrawing their full account balance, it wouldn't even be an option. But it is, right? At the end of the day, the goal here is for traders to pull money out of the live markets. And if they're in a Top Step account and continuing to do that, then Top Step, it's a mutually beneficial relationship, right? Top Step takes a percentage of that as well. But there's nothing saying that you can't do that, right? It wouldn't even be an option if that was the case. What I will say is, let's say somebody tries to do that 5 or 6 times, there might be a consideration of whether or not the team takes them live and continues to put them in a live account. But Dakota, have you ever heard any pushback about pulling the balance from your live account?
No, actually the exact opposite. Top Step and any of the people I've talked to is they do encourage traders to take payouts. And there's been some great traders here at Top Step who has traded and who has taken live account payouts, and then they go start their own personal brokerage. And it's
Right.
a beautiful thing. It's the beautiful thing. And man, Top Step's growing so much, dude. Like how many live traders Top Step's bringing on a day-to-day basis. I remember it was like, 2 or 3. And I think now when I'm looking and we do it on fast markets, it's like 19 in a day. And then the account balances are just growing. I remember last year at this time, $100,000 was number 1 on the leaderboard. Now we have like KJ who's up there approaching 7 figures, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And so that's been nice to see. That's been nice to see. Slyfox. Oh yeah, no, that's the exact opposite. Top Step is slowly dying. It's the opposite, man. It really is. It's like sports analogies. I don't know if this is a good one, Coach Jay, but Lakers, all right? Lakers, where everyone's trying to beat. Who's everyone trying to beat? Who's everyone competing with?
Right now, I mean the champs, right? OKC right now, right?
Yeah,
They're the champs.
Yeah, that's.
But everyone is trying to catch up to the Lakers as far as championships go. Yeah, Lakers and Celtics, right? That is the gold standard.
Who's talking, getting the most shit talked to, right? It's like who's everyone's trying to beat, and that's usually the case. That's usually the case. Is shit talking goes straight up. But yeah, Top Step's always been for personal brokerage, and I remember day one was the push for live accounts, and Top Step's always pushed for live accounts. I'm pushing for live accounts. I need to get back to a live account and prove I could do it here on this day trading. And sure, I could take my money and I could open up a personal brokerage and I could show that and share it and share my broker statements, but that doesn't really help, in my opinion, traders who are going through the same thing like this. I think it's more beneficial for me to take a step back, go back to a Combine, than for me to just say, it's not worth it. I'm just going to open up my personal brokerage for this and only show that. Because that would be incorrect. Because that's like throwing money at a problem and solving it that way. Is 10K
100%.
on top firms a lot? Yes, John. Yeah. And everyone's different. Everyone's different. Everyone's going to have their own goals. Some traders they take a $2,000 payout, and that could be life-changing money. Just $2,000 or $1,000. Like Lance said, anything above break even is a huge accomplishment. Heck, break even is a huge accomplishment as a trader.
100%. 100%. Got to be able to not lose money before you can make money.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to not lose money before you make money. Brad Sims, wait, that's not a solution. No, it's not. It's not a pay to win scenario here. As much as it can be with going through hundreds of combines to show profits, right, and build a brand. It's no. The reality is, it's not pay to win. As you could throw $100,000 into a personal account, if you blow it, that's real money. And then you can't just throw. I mean, you can keep throwing $100,000, but eventually, money will run out. There's an old saying. Is it an old saying where it's like the best way to make $1 million in day trading is to start with 2 million?
Yep. Best way to get to 1 million is to start with two.
Yeah. Yep. It's so true, man.
Oh yeah.
I've lost a lot of money when I first started.
Same here.
I've made and lost. It's one of those things where when I first started out, I put everything into it, and then looking back, yeah, I got lucky on some of penny stock picks, and then made like 100 grand, and then and throughout that entire period, I've probably lost $120,000 worth of, quote, educational expense, learning what not to do.
Tuition.
Yeah, tuition, market tuition. And I definitely know for a fact that I wouldn't have spent $120,000 if there was a prop firm like Top Step.
For sure.
Well, that was a great intro. Thanks, Jay. Let's get started with slow markets. As always, welcome to slow markets. 12 minutes in. So, as always, in the YouTube chat, there's our Top Step risk disclosure. Everything that we talk about is for educational purpose only. It's not financial advice. It's not a signals class. And yeah, how was FOMC for you, Coach Jay? I'm looking at these markets, and it looks like it was a wild one and a bullish one at that.
Pretty bullish. Well, initially we were selling off while Powell was speaking, but then we found a bottom. Buy the dip is the mode that this market has been in. The equities have been in, and we had the Microsoft and Meta earnings after the close, which really shot us up to all-time highs. We're trading all-time highs right now. So I didn't do much during FOMC prior to the meeting.
Okay.
Prior to the press conference, I did take. By the time I had this Top Step account, this was already locked out. I had a short in the euro last night. I did take a long in a personal account, just a couple Nasdaq. Took it for a couple of points and took it off before the earnings. But pretty standard FOMC day. Try not to get chopped up in the pre-number price action, where it was a pretty tight range, and then.
Okay.
After the press conference, the market found a bottom, took a little part of that long there. Did you trade much at all, or?
No, I was done for the day. Personal account, I don't day trade my personal account because it's just stocks and options. That's all my personal stuff. So that was all set and done and prepared this morning, and no day trading. I was done this morning. I locked myself out with that $1,500. And I think I'm gonna be honest. I think I was sparring at that time.
Okay, nice.
You?
I was just watching the markets. I had Top Step TV tuned in. Was not at my desk. Went and sat outside, just enjoying the weather. It's nice weather here in New York right now. Watched the markets. Watched the press conference. Took a quick little long. Made about what was that, about 30 points? About 30 points and called it a day. But pretty good day overall.
Nice.
And now we're at all-time highs.
We are at all-time highs. I need to get the buzzer out. Or the air horn.
Pew, pew.
We probably missed a few opportunities. Well, we're
Oh, you're gonna get another one in about 15 minutes.
Let me hurry up and get that set up here. Let's see if I could get that. It has to be the right one. It has to be the right one. There's like a bunch of them. One of them was just like, let's see. Give me just 1 second while I get this set up.
Yeah, classic dips. It is hot out. Let's find some shade to sit under.
Yes. Other than that, let's take a look. I'm going to switch over to my charts, and I'll do the regular, review. We'll do some technical analysis, look at the day, and then we'll take a look at gold in just a moment, and then talk about copper. Coach Jay, while I'm doing this, take a look at copper. Let's see if I could find.
Oh yeah, we covered that during at the buzzer. That was a pretty insane move. That move high to low in copper was a $25,000 move with a one lot. Wow. The bounce from that move, and let's see if we can take a look at it on a 3-minute chart.
Yeah, look at that.
This
look
bounce
this,
in copper,
everyone.
right? This dead cat bounce, if you will, or a dead brick bounce, whatever you want to call it. This bounce alone was a $12,000 move. Talking about slippage, someone got hit on a stop far away from where they initially had their stop. Very far away. There was a 30 tick spread at one point in copper, and this is not a cheap contract. Let's just see. With a one lot, this is, where is it? Where did it go? Right, with a one lot, it's $12.50 a tick. This entire move, if we look at it, $31,000. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, huge.
That's insane. And it went limit down. We haven't seen markets go limit down often. We came back, we bounced up for about a $12,000 bounce and sold off again, ending the day somewhere near 20% down, which is insane.
It's, man, slippage and
yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. It's crazy to see markets. It gives you that FOMO, right? What if? What if?
Yeah.
Type scenario, and all you could do is just like, hey, move on, follow your process, get on to the next. But let me get back to the NASDAQ. I'm going to go through this NASDAQ on the daily, break it down. We'll take a look at gold, and then we'll continue this. So NASDAQ, I always start on a higher time frame. Let's get back to back to those basics. Watch those videos if you haven't. It's a beautiful link. And yeah, daily chart. FOMC today. We have earnings coming out. Don't forget tomorrow. This week's not done. This week is not done. Tonight we have Bank of Japan rates. Decision. Tomorrow we have, this is during the London session, the Bank of Japan press conference. But tomorrow we have PCE, core PCE, consumer spending, and we have Apple and Amazon earnings. So we're not done yet. And on top of that, that's when the U.S. tariffs says start tentative, and then followed up by non-farm payroll on Friday. So this is just middle of the week. And as big of craziness of a move we've had and price action we've had today, we can see more tomorrow and then Friday. So just buckle up. We're just getting started. Daily, what do you do? All-time highs? Nothing to go on this daily chart. I think the only thing I could do is, I talked about this on Fast Markets. Coach Jay, you know what it is when it comes to these measured moves, picking out how far we do move when we get a nice rally, and then say, where can this market go? I don't know how you want to pick that up, and say, well, typically we could see something like this. We've had such a big move, but then when it comes to all this news that's coming out, do these measured moves help or hurt? And it's like, I don't know. It's hard to say, especially when we broke through all-time highs. And so I'll zoom into an hourly chart, and there's Uncle Bugatti in the chat. Shout out to him. He's on the Twitterverse, sticking his fingers in things. I don't even know sometimes, but yeah, if you know, looking at this hourly chart, we broke through, we hit all-time highs. That was that big move. And if we look at this nice gap, this is what I want to pay attention to the most. And this is probably from a technical standpoint, the one thing that I'm paying attention to is this gap. Look for where we closed, and then look where we opened. That is a big gap. That's that's an Uncle Bugatti size gap. And we look and we start to zoom in from where we closed to where we started the open tonight, right at, let's see, I'm going to put a line there. And then it looks like we did fill about half of the gap. And then I'm just trying to do some measurements, understand the volatility. So we still have about 23 points, 23, 24 points of a gap left. And so the question is, for everybody who says gaps always get filled, will this gap get filled? Can we have a pullback, fill this gap? Last time we had a gap, we got filled, and then we rallied, and we continue to rally. And so that's going to be on my mind if this market gets down there. I'm only going to pay attention to this only if this market gets down there, then it will become important. If we do get a pullback down to those 660s or somewhere in this level, then I'll be looking for some buying opportunities, saying, hey, support resistance, resistance becomes support. There could be buying opportunities around that level, around that zone. Until then, it's just all-time highs. We just march. We're just marching to the beat of the buyers. I really don't have anything when the market does this, when the market just goes to all-time highs. You just, as hard as it is, you just
Look for a 100-point pullback
wait for
and close your eyes and
pullbacks.
buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
Exactly,
It's
Jay.
tough.
It's
I
hard.
want to, I don't like, I will miss a trade trying to like avoiding buying all-time highs. Where these are markets that are continuing to grind higher. The S&P is not making all-time highs, just a little bit of a divergence there. But I feel like I have to wait for a pullback.
It's tempting to short. That's what just destroyed me the past few months. And so, as impatient as you might be, this is something I need to get better at, is just waiting for a pullback, waiting for an opportunity. I joke about disabling the buy button, disabling the sell button, following this, BTFD, and just getting in with a trend. That's all I have on the Nasdaq. So now let's take a look at the gold. Let's take a look at the gold, and shout out to Hogue if you tuned into Fast Markets, where we did that average move. That average move, it worked out beautifully on a long, if woulda, coulda, shoulda taken it. And we measure these moves. Same thing. I did that. We did it a few times actually, and said, where could this gold go? And we were about there in Fast Markets, and we said, well, we're seeing a 3-bar reversal. I don't know how I measured it, but this isn't rocket science. This is kind of like an eyeball rough estimate. Said, okay, we're about there. We're about at that average move. And we started to see a 3-bar reversal right here at these 3340s, and the beautiful long, setup. Unfortunately, I was locked out, but we got a nice bounce off that. So we rallied all the way up to those 50s, which I was looking for. And sure enough, guess what? This was support. Support became resistance. It's a beautiful thing how technicals can play out. Support, resistance. What was support now became resistance. And then we just broke down, and now we're seeing a little bit of a move up here on the hourly. And so the question I have, Coach Jay, is, do we continue a little bit of a rally, or do we see a continued sell-off? We do have another possibility if we're looking for support, resistance, resistance, support. Can gold get up to these 3340s for a possible short? And then from a 5-minute chart, I could even make an argument for a bull flag. I could make an argument for a bull flag here for maybe a break to the long side up to those 3343s. All right, Jay, take it away.
Yeah, I am looking for, in gold we have that 30-minute. I'm on a 30-minute chart here. That 3340 area, I do kind of like that for a potential short. I was trying to figure out exactly what the trade is here in gold right now. It's a market that's in a downtrend. We have this heavy selling towards the end of the day, and I have the highest volume 30-minute candle mapped out here, and 3342 is right at 50% of that. It looks like we're getting a little, relief bounce, maybe some short covering into that area. Uh, if we get a pullback to 3331, I may buy gold and look for 3340s as that target.
3340s.
Yeah, if we get a
Yeah,
pullback into 33.30, 33.31, I may buy it for a pull for that move up into the 40s.
I like that play. I like it a lot. That's we did pass the top of the hour too. We did it, so we're already past that time. So maybe there is a nice play for a buy the dip scalp. Yeah, I like it. I like that. So let me get some music on. We'll get to some questions. Everyone watching the Nasdaq, let me know if we get close to the all-time highs. I have the air horn ready, and I think we could just watch this gold. Not much going on in the other markets other than, like you said, copper. Let me know if you see
So
anything else.
Kevin has a question here in copper. What about a long in copper? From a technical perspective, it may play out, and everyone has their own free will. You can trade however you want. Personally, after seeing that move in copper off of a headline that we really couldn't prepare for, I'm probably not looking to take any copper trades right now. Now, what is the likelihood that we get another 20% candle, 20% 3-minute candle? Probably pretty low, but that type of volatility in the market, for me, I'm going to stay out of it. But from a technical perspective, I could see why you would be looking to take a long.
It's low, but
But
never zero.
Right, right, exactly, and it's tariff based, right? So we could very well hear, hey, this country didn't do what I wanted, 500% tariffs or something crazy, or actually, hey, you know what, they're not that bad. Let's just remove the tariffs. I want
One second,
to stay out of that.
1 second.
Go ahead.
Nasdaq, Jay.
All time highs.
Nasdaq. Are we there? Are we there? Did we get it? Did we get it?
I don't think so.
Did we? Did we just miss it? We gotta have it on screen for it to be an air horn moment. Let's see. 79.50.
We did get it. Yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
We did. Oh, well, I want to hit the air horn when we're making it. All right. So let's take a moment. I missed an air horn moment. Okay.
I mean, just mark it by a 10 lot real quick and get us up there.
There we go.
There it is.
There's the air horn. Now
do that again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear it?
I couldn't hear it, but
you can't hear it.
Nah, it's all right. As long as chat can.
Is this like the Christmas bell, Santa's bell? You gotta believe in order to hear it. Chat could hear it. Chat could hear it. I'm not sharing it with you. Let me share. I gotta share.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. History made. We just made history in slow markets. First time Nasdaq has ever been at 759. 23,759. Just remember my words. Yeah, I gotta remember my own words, chat. We're witnessing this. All right, rest of slow markets. That's all it's gonna be. Just air horn after air horn after air horn, and then we just piss everyone off, and then there goes the viewers. There goes the viewer.
No, they're here for it.
Yeah,
they're here for it.
Instead of air horn, let's get some music on. And while we do that, Jay, are you in any trades? Have you placed? And are you looking at anything other than?
I'm looking at shorting the euro again. To be honest, it's been the trade of the week for me. I think in this combine, I'm up about $2,800. 2,000 of that is from shorting the euro.
There goes the gold, man.
Did it pull back or did it just rally?
It just broke out.
No pullback, right? Yeah, I was kind of thinking that would happen. Okay, but I know you were looking at these 33.40s to short.
It's not a shortable market right now until we get up to those 40s and show that the market wants to be shorted. The market needs to want to be shorted at this point.
Right.
It's got to tell me. It needs to want to change.
It just didn't give me the pullback I was looking for there, but that's all right. Let's see something here.
All right, and while we're doing that, let's do a hashtag slow markets. I've been pretty freaking active on the social medias today, which I don't mind it. I haven't stored up any too much drama. But hashtag slow markets. There's the link to the Twitter X. If you want to do a hashtag slow markets, just tag me in it, and then if it's good, if it's a trade, maybe your trade station, something good, entertaining about trading or slow markets, hashtag maybe put something fun like DBA concepts. There's the link, and then as always, I will not as always, but as of recently, here is the new Instagram, and I will pin that to the chat, where I've been posting more and more, and I've enjoyed it. I want you to want me. Yeah. I want the gold to want to be shorted.
Yeah, it has to present it. It's not just a, oh, well, I feel like this should go down, so let me take the trade. That usually leads to trouble. Somebody asked what the target is on the euro short. I'm not in it yet. I'm in this practice account just measuring out what the risk would be on this trade if I took it here, risking about $500. I don't know if I love this trade just because of how much we've sold off over the past couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised at a bounce and getting better location on a short. So I'm not going to take this trade yet, but I am still scouting this. Also with the euro, a lot of times what happens is the volume comes in during the London session. So about 5 hours from now,
Okay.
if I'm up at that time, which I probably won't be, but if I am, I may look then to look for a trade.
Got it.
Dakota, they said you're going to miss another air horn moment here. Here we go. Air horn, 762.
I'm just going for it. I'm hitting it. All right, that's getting annoying. I'm already annoyed. I was excited about the air horn, and I'm already freaking annoyed. No.
There is a micro for the euro. It's M6E. But even then, if I'm looking at the M6E, I don't see. I just don't love the location of this trade right now. And I could be wrong, right? We could be, in a spot where we're turning around. It kind of looks like that. But I don't know. I just don't love this trade for how much we've sold off already. Could be the wrong read, but M6E is the micro.
M6E is the micro. Yep. I won't do an air horn unless we get to 23.7. Let's say 69. 769.
There we go.
That'd be the air horn. We're just gonna be sitting here playing air horns all night. Let's take a look at this gold. It's not a clean breakout. Is this the pullback, the retest of support? That's my question. If we take a look at this gold, we broke out of these 33.85. We broke out. And if you watch those videos, or if you watch me in slow markets or technicals, a breakout, a retest, and now the question is, do we see continuation? So far, we're not. We're not seeing any continuation. We're kind of hesitating in these 39s. All right, back to you.
Yeah, hesitating at that. What was there? That 20 moving average there, right around that 40 area. It's a good spot, right? You called out the price, and like you said, it's not just based on a price basis. It still has to give you a signal that it's a short. So far for this session, it's signaling along, maybe somewhere up near 50s. 33.50s in gold. We have a Bank of Japan rate decision and China PMI within the next 2 hours to impact gold. That could get interesting. Could get interesting for sure. We know those Bank of Japan rate decisions, a lot of the times they show up as tentative on the schedule. They're scheduled for the next hour, 45 minutes from now. But that number can scheduled for an hour and 45 minutes from now. But that number can come out whenever they feel like putting it out.
Correct. I'm looking at gold now. It's starting to look like a little bit like a fake breakout now that we broke back down below the 38.5. So maybe it was a nice little fake out and rejection of those 40s. We'll see. And then here's our first slow markets. Good old Rick out there. Slow markets, DBA, great coaching, futures, Top Step. There we go. That brings up one point, Jay. What's up with the
What's that?
thing now? Okay, this might be a little controversial. I don't care. Um, why is it? Why are so many under the impression that you have to be an amazing and a great trader in order to be a good coach?
It's a great question. It's a great question. And I'm trying to formulate words for why I think that is.
Okay. Think about that. Okay,
Come
I'll
back to
answer
come
some
back to me on
questions.
that. Yeah. Why do people think that, right? And I don't agree with it, right? And I've said this before. The guy that taught me how to trade, how to read order flow, I knew how much money he made one time ever in 5 years. He showed us one day and he never showed us again. And he made a lot of money that day. And I've shared this on Slow Markets before, actually. But before I ever knew how much money he made in a day, I realized how much I was learning from him and how much it was helping me with my own progress. And he would tell traders in his group sometimes, to some people, right? Because he could see a skill set in some people that he didn't see in others. He'd tell some people, hey, you're going to make way more money than me as a trader, right? Just because of the skill set that you have. Why people think that? I think it's...
Someone says do a basketball analogy.
Do a basketball analogy. I think it's because they think that you're... So Scott, shout out to Scott Vaughn. I don't know if Scott is watching. Scott's one of our viewers. I saw one of Scott's comments and he said, why do people think just because they're coaches that they're exempt from taking losses? And I think why that is the thought that, hey, if you're at the point that you calling yourself a coach, you shouldn't go through the same struggles that every other trader goes through. And that's just really not the case. There are hedge funds that lose billions of dollars, right? And they're losing them in the same markets that we trade, and make billions of dollars as well. They're losing them in the same markets that we trade. So I think it's almost like a hopeful thought when people say that. It sounds weird, but it's almost like a hopeful thought. Like, hey, if I ever got to that point of mastery in the markets, I shouldn't deal with the same shit that I deal with as somebody who's new to this. And that's just really not the case. You get better at navigating it, but at Dakota, every time you interact with the markets, you have to click buy or sell, right?
Most of the time, yes.
And when you do that, is there a guarantee that the trade that you put on is going to be a winner?
I wish, man. I wish.
Is that ever going to change?
And that will never change.
And that's the thing. And I think it's almost hopeful that, like, hey, if I get to that point, that should change, and it just doesn't do it. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think for me, here's my point of view. Now, taking about analogies out, because we could point out some amazing coaches in sports, and that have taken athletes to the highest level who's never played professionally, right? But I think more importantly is the fact that I have seen this happen many times where a successful trader in, say, stocks and options has given many traders like an exact step-by-step guide of how to be profitable, yet maybe one or two of those have ever been able to like relatively duplicate that success. So it's like you could teach 1,000 people this perfect playbook that's like, yeah, I made $500,000 in the last year. This is exactly how I did it. It's not going to like make everybody who reads it or follows it successful, right? They're going to have 1,000 different results. And so for me, it's more of, I think I've seen it there a few times, and it's difficult because everybody learns differently. We said that at the very beginning of class, right? Someone might learn by doing, someone might learn better by watching, someone might learn better by reading or this or that. I don't know all that. But for me, in the way I truly do, it's sometimes it's not do as I do, it's do as I say. And it's easier and this is why a trading community is so great, is you can guide people in the right direction a whole lot better than doing it. It's like, man, I struggle with emotions. You shouldn't you shouldn't think about your P&L. But then me personally, maybe I'm thinking about my P&L, and it's easier for me to like teach that or talk about it than it would be for me to do it. And so sometimes it is. And maybe maybe analogies are the best, but I've pondered that a lot. It's one of the main reasons that kind of motivated me to, actually trade here at a prop firm rather than just stay in my personal stuff and demonstrate this and then start over last year. And then here I am starting over again, because honestly, Jay, do I really need to put myself through this again? Right? It's like I've done it twice. I did it when I first started last year or a year and a half ago. I did it again when I lost an account last July, and then here I am again. And I asked myself that a few times this week. I'm like, do I really want to put myself through this? All the criticism, all the BS, all the social media crap. It's the reason why I didn't even have social media in the first place. And then I got a message, because I don't need to, right? Because I have my personal account stuff. But then I get messages, and I remember messages like this, and I'm going to show you. It's the VIP team. It's messages like this. This is the last VIP team.
Chat, no air horns until 769. But we see
not
it.
Until 769, chat. Is I don't mind going through that, because what I get and the comments that I get and helping traders and getting this, it far exceeds any of the BS and the drama. And it's like, yeah, someone might call me a loser. It's like, coach can't trade because he lost money. It's like, motherfucker, I took out $500,000. But then this is beyond fulfilling for that. So reading messages
100%.
like
Those
this,
messages are the best.
It's like, how do you top this? Like, this will overtake 1,000 trolls in my mind. It's like, okay, you know what? It's worth it to go through this again, to show, and if I can help, 10, 20, 30, I don't want to see just one trader, but I want to help 10, 20, 30 traders get a payout, get multiple payouts, get a live account. That's what I want. That's what I want. I don't mind blocking out all the trolls and the drama. I've been using that block button on social media.
It's a good one.
Actively.
Good one.
Pretty actively.
It's a good one. And like you said, man, there are so many people who are looking for help, who genuinely want to, just learn. And who's to say that I'm going to be the person that helps you become that profitable trader? But if you look at the information that I'm providing, I think we owe it. We have people come in and watch us every day. We owe it to the audience that we have to help as much as we can, right? Ultimately, as a trader, you have to click the buttons. But if anything that we're saying is helping you with your journey, that's why we do it.
Yeah.
That is why we do it.
Fact. We don't sell anything.
Say it again.
I said we don't need to sell anything, right? We're
No.
here. We enjoy this. What is your motivation?
What is my motivation?
Yeah.
Or is that a question in the chat?
No, that's usually the general chat, right? When someone's like, we want to help you. It's like, what's your motivation to help? That's the thing I love Top Step. I love Top Step, and what we're doing here is we don't get motivated by traders failing or resets. We get motivated, and the pat on the back, or what do you call it, that boy, when and Pete told you had, what was your success rate for the last VIP? It was like 60.
It was for season 1. It was 69%, and that is not a meme.
There we go.
That was the real number.
69% of your VIP class passed.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Man, you gotta love some of the comments in the chat. New all-time highs. When is the S&P going to catch up is my question. Yeah, we're close. The S&P is still about 8 points off that all-time high. Looks like it wants to go, but not yet.
And I'm watching gold. We're not really going anywhere here in gold. Thank you. Yeah, we haven't hit it yet. We're just grinding higher ever so slightly. I'm excited. Teach me. Teach me. Slow markets, man. Slow markets. Coach Jay's at the buzzer, tuning into Top Step TV. It's fun. There's a lot of great stuff. I've learned a lot, myself included, and I see the positive things every day. I tell you what, man. MP is motivated to get traders to a live account and get traders to be 7 figures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. MP is so motivated to get traders into to that level, and he's like, what can Top Step do to get traders into the live account? Get traders finding that success, reaching their goals, and getting to 7-figure traders. It's pretty freaking cool to see. Having Lance on was pretty cool as well. Who's going to be?
Oh yeah, having Lance on was amazing, right? They said it. 8-figure trader, verified, 100 million in verified profits, 8-figure a year trader. If Top Step can build a relationship, and I think that is exactly what MP is doing with somebody like that, that is just a valuable resource to all of our community, but especially the traders that are on that leaderboard at the top that aspire to kind of do something like that. That is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I love it. It really is. Now, it's not going to be everyone's goals, right? That's like, it's very important to understand realistic, right? Yeah, sure. Maybe one day, as a trader, you could reach 7 figures, you could get to there. But honestly, majority of traders should just strive to get to first break even, consistency, getting the first payout, then the second, then the third. It's the small ones. It's the small steps. You can't run a marathon without taking the first step, and then the second step, and then so forth. Are you seeing anything else, Jay?
I'm looking at this Euro trade. I'm happy I'm not short because it is giving a long signal in the shorter time frame. The Euro and gold actually move very similar just because of the ties to the dollar. I think the short that we've been seeing in gold and in the Euro has been dollar strength. I do want to continue to get into this trade, but it's definitely not the location yet.
Yeah.
So no, not seeing too much right now.
Yeah. I'm watching NASDAQ. Don't worry, chat. We're just ticking higher. We'd be hitting the air horn every 5 seconds. Would you consider NASDAQ right now untradeable?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think right now the way I'm looking at the NASDAQ is, where is that spot where we find the last buyer for right now that gives us a little bit of a pullback. I wouldn't consider it untradeable though. I think setting reasonable expectations for the trade is important though, right? Am I looking for 200 points right now? This may not be the opportunity that presents a 200-point trade, but it's tradable.
Yeah. What? Yeah, we're just really grinding up and to the right. Like ticks. What would be a risk reward? Where would your stop loss be? Where would the take profit be? Close your eyes and buy it and go for like 2 points. Quick $100 scalp, someone says.
Not really seeing much on the books. Couple 20 lots, 30 lots, nothing crazy.
That's why I watch gold. We're getting more consolidation. Pull back down to these 37s here in gold. I'm not forcing trades either. These are the combines. Here we go.
You can't force trades because you just shared that short at 40s was a decent opportunity. But if you force trades, everyone has your performance stats, right? They have the link. So you're gonna go on Fast Markets tomorrow. They go, hey Dakota, what was this 15 lot Australian dollar trade that you took? What did you see there?
It's like just some random monster, like
right.
Max contracts, random market. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, that's the beautiful thing about this Top Step X. It's shared. It's copied. We're gonna go ahead and you know what? While we got this jam going, Coach Jay, I'm gonna share this. I think it's important to share it. I like that you did it, and I'm gonna follow your lead.
What's that?
Sharing for accountability.
Oh, I thought you shared it already.
Yeah, I shared it in the the YouTube
chat.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
got you.
Yeah, sharing, being able to share this, everyone can see it now, right? Chat, you can see this if you click on the link. Let me know. So if I place a trade, let me know. I just want to confirm something. I want to confirm. If I was to place a trade, let's do this. I'm going to jump over to a micro, and I'm going to place a trade. And there's air horn. 769. All-time highs here during slow markets. So
Pew, pew, pew.
yeah, let me place a trade on a micro, and let me know if it updates everybody. Everyone can see it. You can see it. Jay, could you confirm with me on clicking on that? If you wouldn't mind,
Where's the
please.
link?
In the YouTube chat. I could send it to you here.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna place a quick micro trade, and I'm just gonna close it out. Okay, I'm down $2.74 tonight. Does that update for everybody?
Yep.
That
updated
update.
already.
It
Yes, it
updated
did.
already?
Yep.
I just closed
Refresh
it.
the page.
That was fast.
Refresh the page. Yep.
That was fast. Wow. Okay. That's next level. How's that for technology? So now,
Dakota's always red. Clip it up. Put it on social media. Look, he's red. He's red.
now everyone sees
across
my
five
statistics.
across 5 accounts, he just lost $10.
Yeah, now welcome to the statistics. Yeah, here we go. Full transparency. No changing. And then I showed everybody these accounts, and shout out to Danielle. I seen her in the chat. She was able to work with
What's
the
up,
team.
Danielle?
She got I think she was the one behind that combine counter, that cool graphic. Where's that at? I'm gonna pull that one up. Give me a second. Did that in like record time too. That was pretty impressive. That's so cool.
They did pull that 30 lot JD. Some size flashing in around here. I saw somebody saying there was some size up at 780s. I gotta check with the team on my data, level 2 data for Top Step X.
Okay.
For some reason, it doesn't load all the time, but I'm not seeing it up there.
Where at?
It was up at 780s, I thought.
On the NASDAQ?
Yeah, you see anything up there?
I am not. What size? I'm not seeing anything at 780s. I could see 786 and nothing up that way. Like 8 contracts, 13. Unless they've been pulling it. Are you showing all 5 of your combines?
Oh, no, just one. Mike was asking, did I share it? So I just,
Oh.
there you go.
I thought you shared like all 5. I'm like, okay, wow, that's there you go.
No.
Here's that graphic. Gave the shout out to Danielle.
Oh, here we go. It was John. What can you say about the 23875 that has 140 lots? That can be a magnet. 23875. Oh, that's way up there, John.
Yeah, that's way up there. I can see that way up there.
Maybe. When it's that far up, I keep it in mind, but I don't start thinking about magnets. I wouldn't start thinking about that as a magnet until we cross 800, just because it's so far and above a major psych level, which is at 800. I probably wouldn't think about that order until we get maybe to within 75, 50 points of it.
Yeah, and they could pull it at any time, right?
Yep. If it was at 785, different story, right? We're within 20 points, then I start looking at that.
Correct. Yep, I agree. Yeah, I'm trading. Look here, chat. Someone says, shouldn't it be 5? It's 5, right? Here's my lead account, and here's my other 4. Oh, I'm not sharing. There you go. Lead account 4. This copy trader's built into Top Step X, so pretty dang clean. Look, no slippage. Clean. 274, 274, 274. No slippage. There you go. Oh, the combine counter. Yeah, I think that will be updated because the community said this morning the combine counter would be 5, even though it's copy traded. So even though I'm trading one account and it's being copied, then the counter should be 5.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Chat, what are you guys looking at? Anybody in a trade right now?
That dip just got bought up. 5 points. Massive moves here in the NASDAQ. Someone says 6E. What is 6E? So
6E is the euro.
Yep, you could trade currency futures here at Top Step. So if you're coming from a Forex background, here's that list. Type in the I type in the number 6, but there's lots of currency futures here at Top Step. Someone's saying gold long. Let's take a look at some gold. Gold bouncing off those 36s. Let's take a look at the crude. Coach Hoop says crude looking short. It's so hard for me to short crude, dude. You know what? Doesn't get enough love. Let's take a look at my old love of the Nikkei. That sucker's on a run. The Nikkei, the Japanese market. All right, focus, Dakota. Let's get back to the 2 markets I watch. Waiting for the reset of the open. 15-minute candle. Hey coaches, do you have any top tips for trading gold? Top tips for trading gold. It has micros, and I think it's great that, and I would recommend starting in micros at first. I don't know, Jake. Do you have any top tips on trading gold?
Tips for trading micros. Tips for trading gold.
Yeah. Aaron? Ask Aaron?
Talk to Aaron. Watch Aaron
Aaron's
trade.
amazing when it comes to gold.
Not specifically for gold. I can't say tips for trading gold as opposed to any other market. The same headlines that affect the equities are going to affect gold as well. Trade micros though, because it is an expensive contract. That would be the tip.
Yeah, there you go. And then here's another hashtag slow markets. Gary Webb looks like trading silver, doing well in silver. Nice work. Yeah, gold's chopping back and forth. Not seeing too many movements tonight. Question for you, Jay. Do you think since FOMC we got that crazy move, a lot of information's out, NASDAQ getting ready to hit all-time highs again, do you think we could just be kind of patiently waiting now until data comes out tomorrow?
We could. What do we have tomorrow? We have PCE. We have jobless claims.
Earnings.
We have
Some big
earnings, consumer spending, Canadian GDP, Apple, Amazon earnings. We still got Michigan sentiment, NFP this week. Wow, what a week.
Yeah.
We still have NFP on Friday.
Yeah, we're just getting started. We just finished FOMC today, and we have major earnings, inflation data, and then, topping it off with FOMC or non-farm and Chicago. Yeah, it's the end of the month, July. It's a packed week.
What was I just gonna say? Oh, keep your accounts active. With the amount of potential catalysts that we have in the markets that can present great opportunities, taking low quality trades, and I'm reminding myself of this as well, chat. Taking low quality trades due to boredom costs you more than whatever you would make on a trade when a great opportunity presents itself, right? That opportunity cost, I don't think we consider that much. If I take a shitty trade right now and lose $1,000 and I have to lock myself out from trading tomorrow and we get the trade of the year tomorrow, that makes it way worse than just missing that trade of the year or, short arming that trade. So pay attention to that. Like there are, we like you just said, we may just see the markets chop around a little bit because we have a catalyst.
And wow,
don't shoot at air.
I can't agree with you more, right? There's been a lot of times where, say I take a loss tonight during slow markets and then I lock myself out, or I say I hit my daily loss limit and then I get on for fast markets and there's some amazing opportunities that just worked out so great. I'm just like, what the heck was I doing? It's like I hit my daily loss limit, last night during slow markets, and the better opportunity today happens to be on fast markets, right? So that's just an example. There's nothing wrong with locking yourself out, but understand what your trading plan is, where if you do plan to trade, say, an hour tonight and then an hour during fast markets, you just leave yourself room, right? You don't have to use your entire daily loss limit at the beginning of a session.
Right.
And quality over quantity, I like that you said that. The opportunity cost is something that traders don't really think of. And yeah, it's big, right? Without FOMO, because if you think about opportunity cost, it's a slippery slope towards FOMO, because you can just think, man, I didn't watch the FOMC meeting for the minutes. Look at all that opportunity that I missed out on. So maybe next time I'm going to trade it. Don't think of it like that. Just thinking of like, hey, I want, what is it? This is why I'm going to say one of the reasons why I believe LeBron James is the greatest is the best ability is availability, and the fact that he's been able to, keep healthy for so many years, and he's still able to play in today's league. Best availability is availability. Best ability is availability.
Is availability, 100%. Richard Harris, we see you, man. We see you. 64-42, Richard Harris's call. Richard Harris, are you in the trade? Please tell me you're in that trade. That's a great trade. Richard Harris, if no one ever sees your chat call outs, but you're in the trade and make money from them, it's all that matters. But we see you.
It's like Richard Harris, I gotta be honest, it's like the tariffs and the volatility that we've seen earlier this year. We got too used to it. We see your name in the chat every 5 seconds. Sometimes it just, what do you call it? You get like, all right, that's just something common. You're getting used to seeing your messages, and you kind of see past it.
We got a fun question here from Obaid. Hopefully I said your name right. Coaches, what are your trading pet peeves? It's a good one. Trading pet peeves.
Give me an example.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll throw one out there, and you let me know if that's in line with what you were asking. Okay, here you go. I'm a join bid, join ask type of person. One of my pet peeves is when I join the bid and then the market runs 20 points away from me before filling my order.
Almost happened to me today in the short. Yeah,
that's one of them. That's probably the biggest one. It's like just fill my because I usually, and I guess I could just adjust to being a market order person, but I think however you learn is how you execute. I've always been a join bid, join ask trader, and what I'll do sometimes is I'll join the bid, and if it doesn't fill right away, I'll drag the order to be a market order. But not getting that fill is interesting. Is a pet peeve for sure.
Like a pet. So you're referring to like a pet peeve that happens in trading that I did?
I think I'm trying to that's how I interpreted the question.
Okay. Because it makes sense that the market does I say when it just ticks me out and my stop loss is a better entry. That's the biggest pet peeve. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's a big one. But overall,
Roy
I
Lee
think,
has a good one. Direction immediately changing after taking a trade. Yep. That's a good one. Well, you were about to say something, Dakota.
no, and then there was another one where I was gonna say another pet peeve. I'd say a biggest pet peeve in this industry
Oh,
could
here we
be
go.
when traders just switch accounts, um, and lack transparency. That's a big pet peeve. I absolutely hate that. It's the first thing that I noticed that became my pet peeve while we're watching the Nasdaq continue to make all-time highs. When I first joined Top Step and I started looking at social media, it was the first thing, dude. Like, it was blatantly obvious, but yet so many people were I don't know, what do they call it? Pulling the wool over your eyes or whatever. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, can nobody not see what's going on here? And I think that's what my friend, really close friend of mine, Peter Brandt, he's a friend. We have our ups and downs, okay? Peter Brandt, I think that was his pet peeve. I think that was Lance that came on air with MP. That was one of his pet peeves as well. And having that clarity, having that open-mindedness, and being able to have a two-way conversation, a constructive one, was something, like I said, I will give Lance all the credit to be able to do that. And it's so true. People would be surprised how much we're in common when it comes to me and Peter Brandt, or Lance, or a lot that maybe we get in conflict. It's like, okay, we need to understand each other. We need to understand what's going on with this industry and bring out that transparency, because no one wants to deal with that. And I think even the people doing it don't want to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's my pet peeve since day one. Since day one.
That was a serious answer to that fun question, but I agree with it.
That's my pet peeve. Okay.
I'm like, I just hate when I click the join bid button, I don't get in my trade. Dakota
Maybe.
had a genuine answer to that question.
Yeah. I hate fake people. Okay.
There we go. So Willie C has a good comment here. So people who say volume has anything to do with price, look at this market. It's going up, whether there's 2 contracts being bought or 1,000. Who said that? No, that wasn't Willie C. That was CC64YT. The amount that the market is able to move is directly correlated to the volume that's on the order books and the volume that trades. When there's 1 contract at a price and Dakota buys 2, the market's going to move. These order books are extremely thin in the Nasdaq right now. I think we have the clearance, and I'm just going to do it. Whatever. I might get in trouble for this. Okay. That 150K subscriber thing we did, where all the videos got recorded. Those are on YouTube. They've been on YouTube for about 4 months now. I don't know if anybody has it, but I did a volume class there, and I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything, but if you want how I kind of look at volume and read it, and if you don't think volume matters at all, don't even watch the video. But your comment there is right? The market is moving on 2 lots being filled because there's nothing in the way to stop it right now. But let me share that video. Let me see if I can find those.
Interesting. No, I think it's reasonable, right? Because I don't mind telling people, hey, don't watch this video if this doesn't apply to you. It's not applicable. Don't waste your time watching something that
don't.
Yeah, because time is a very, very precious, valuable asset. I wouldn't want someone to watch a video that I won't help them or might not be beneficial. So nothing on that one. Oh, question. Ooh, this is a good question. When I first started at Top Step, who was the coach that I looked up to? Oh, that's a good one. Dang. Do you have an answer to that question, Jay? While I say
Who's the
think?
I looked up to at Top Step?
Yeah. When you first started.
Hogue for sure.
Hogue.
Hogue. Yeah, Hogue for sure. Hogue, I work with Coach Robert a lot when I first got here, and just like seeing Coach Robert's organizational skills, like, and he just had Coach Robert is very Coach Robert, right? And if you've ever worked with Coach Robert, you understand what I mean. He has a very strong conviction in what he believes in, and I admire that, even if I don't agree with everything that he says, right? Because I think you have to have some of that as a trader, where yes, we want to be, we want to be willing to learn, and Coach Robert always is, but at the end of the day, he says, hey, this doesn't work for me, and I'm standing on that. And I really do love that. There was a trader that we had on a couple of weeks ago that the chat thought thought was interesting. He was talking about like thermionic. So he was using words I've never even heard before, but he said that's how he trades. But what I realized was he was saying words that I may have never heard, but he was like number 39 on the leaderboard. The one thing that works in this game, regardless of the language that you use, is numbers. So that trader, and Andre's going to challenge him. He says, hey, you don't listen to you don't pay attention to news. News is important because of this. I can't remember the trader's name, but he says, well, just in my mind, that doesn't matter to me. And I admire people who do that, because you could understand that it might mean something to someone else, but in the way that I make decisions, I don't even consider those things. So Coach Robert for sure.
Coach Robert. I like that. Great answer. A lot of traders I've seen are saying Hogue. Hogue's awesome. I'd say myself. I'm joking.
I think I'm pretty good.
No. I'm gonna surprise everybody with this. With this one. Jack Senior.
The GOAT.
Coach Jack Senior. A lot of people might not know who that is, Jay, but I believe that's JD's dad.
Yep.
And wow, when I first started here at Top Step, this is a year and a half ago, and like I said, I started just to be a coach. I was not into like, hey, I'm going to sit here and trade on screen. I just enjoyed the coaching. And then this was all in Discord, right, Coach Jay? Where we were just in Discord, doing classes in Discord to like, 50 traders or 100 traders. And I just enjoyed just listening to everything he had to say. He didn't really care too much. Like, he didn't be like, oh, this is a pattern. He was focused, yeah. And the level of experience that he has, the amount of experience and the stories, and I just looked up to him like, man, he is this old, putting in this much effort and willing to help traders. And how many meetings were we in, Coach Jay, where no matter what, he would always say the same thing. He's like, we need to figure a way to help the traders. Or it's like, but will that help the traders? Like, that's all he cared about was, how do we help the traders? Or it's like, well, why would we do that?
Yep.
Like, and it was primarily about copy trading, right? He's like, that's crazy. We don't want the traders to spend more money, or we don't want them to get emotional or FOMO, or like, he cared and he does care so much about the traders. It's awesome.
Yeah, Coach Jack is amazing. Chat, I'm putting that video that we talked about. I'm just sharing the one for the volume analysis class that we did, that I did for the 150K subscribers. If I get in trouble for this, chat, I'm blaming it on you. But I'm just sharing my video. It only has 83 views right now. But watch that if you want. If you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, Coach Jack is amazing. I also shared some links to some fireside chats that Coach Jack and I did. And he still does these in Discord. I think every Monday, him and Coach Paul do a session. And it's one of my favorite sessions because there are no charts involved at all.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot to be learned from those sessions for sure.
Yep. I still look up to him. It's pretty cool. It was one of my favorite memories is getting to know Coach Jack Sr. and the fact that he's still putting in this effort and doing that, and he has his VIP team. It's pretty awesome. Danielle says, "When did you publish that on our channel?"
So I didn't publish that, Danielle. That is so
You guys
that
can't see my
150K
screen
subscriber
yet.
thing that we did.
okay.
That is one of the videos. It's unlisted. It's an unlisted video.
Oh,
So
okay,
I didn't share the full playlist. I just shared the link to that video.
oh, okay, okay.
I'm just hiding Easter eggs in the top step
That's what you mean.
YouTube page.
Yeah, there's that one that's unpublished. Where'd that one go, Jay?
Oh yeah, no, we don't talk about that one. we don't talk about that one. See what you did, chat? You got me in trouble. Daniel says I want more of those. Okay, well, if you want more of those,
you got yourself in trouble.
I can tell you where to find them. There's videos for every coach. I'll send you the link in Slack, Daniel. You want the playlist? I got you.
There you go.
Rolled Sushi wants to know how many accounts did you blow before hitting it and consistency. I mean, if we want to talk about how many accounts, when I was trading my own money, I lost well over 100 grand trying to figure out how to do this. And that was in about a 2-year span.
Okay.
Somewhere close to like 140, 150. Before I even thought I needed to ask somebody how to. These are not combines. No, this is my own personal money.
Real money. Yeah. Real.
Yeah.
Personal brokerage type
Yep.
stuff.
All right.
So, I mean, that's about my journey too, Coach Jay. I'm at 120,000, but mine was in the span of like 4 years.
What was I just looking for? I'm having a brain freeze right now. Okay, 150K subscriber playlist.
All right, let's take a look. Gold pushing up into those mid 43s. Yeah, we just got a nice pop there. That gold long playing out. Gold long playing out really well. We did get that pullback down to those 36s, Coach Jay. 36s, 35.9. We did not get in long. Let's take a look at NASDAQ to finish up this. So it looks like as of now, the all-time high for the NASDAQ is 780. 780 is the all-time high. It looks like there's a couple hundred contracts coming in now on the tape, not being filled, but there's one resting order, 100 contracts, 79, 100 contracts, 785. And we're pulled back a little bit. We're sitting here at 69. And yeah, coming up to the end of fast markets. This is a good one. No trades. We're just grinding through chop all-time highs. I mean, that's all it is. We're channeling up and to the right in a very, very small, tight range. Little opportunities there for me in the way that I view the market. Gold, sure. We pointed out this gold long to start the session, right? It chopped around a little bit. We never did get in long, but the long ended up playing out. And this is one where it's like, dang it, I wish I would have gotten long. It would have worked out. However, the setup just didn't show itself, and it wasn't clean. And so sometimes it sucks to miss a good trade, but I mean, look at that chop. Look, barcode there, barcode chop.
Yeah.
Popped up, ran some stops, went all the way down to these 36s. So I think that was a good no trade. I'm happy with tonight's results. No trades. And any last words, Coach Jay, before we?
Yeah. One more topic. Rolled Sushi asked, when do I know to stop buying combines if I'm just struggling getting through them? Rolled Sushi, what I will say is, and I answered you in the chat, but allocate a certain amount of money that you're going to spend for the year, right? Run it as a business. Say, I'm not going to spend more than X amount of dollars, and don't spend more than that money. If you allocate it, don't just think, let's say your number is $1,000. Don't just say, hey, well, I have $1,000 to spend, so I'm going to YOLO these accounts until I get to 1,000, and then I'll adjust from there. Give yourself a budget for what you're going to spend, and then ask yourself whether or not you're truly willing to do the work to not continue to blow combines, and slow down. If you're trading in minis right now in these combines and blowing them, immediately, if you're going to buy another one, trade micros. And don't change it, right? Lock yourself out from trading the minis if it's causing you to blow your accounts, and zoom out and look at a wider time horizon on success for this. People try to get to 5 profitable days in a row just so I can get to a payout, and you don't think that you're going to be trading for the next 20 years. So really slow yourself down. And also, Danielle gave me the permission to share this. So for anyone who was not a part of the 150K subscriber giveaway, there is the link in the chat. I'll post it a couple times. It's the full playlist to all of the sessions that all of our coaches did, sessions on risk management, trading mindset, and technical analysis from each of our coaches. So you have that there in the chat.
Sick. Nice. Nice.
Don't say I never
Jay.
gave you anything.
Daniel, yeah, you got it. You got it. That was worth the showing up to Slow Markets tonight. So great. I'm excited. VIP drafts throughout the week. It's been a great one. We're only halfway through, right? It's Wednesday. Stay tuned tomorrow. And man, tomorrow's Thursday. Lots of data coming out. Data coming out Friday as well. So it's going to be a very busy week in the markets. Maybe some volatility, maybe some cleaner price action. Not sure. Coach Jay, you will be on tomorrow for opening call.
Opening call. Hogan and I will be going over the markets.
Awesome. And then I'll be on with that man himself, Baron. And oh yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. If not in the morning, tomorrow night for Slow Markets. Baron will join me again tomorrow night. Talk some crap. Maybe we'll see if I could get $50 out of him to give away to my Instagram. And there's that link at the top of the chat. So happy it worked last time. We'll see if we could do it again. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Later.
Right here, what's the retest? Retest right here, man. Pull out right there. Right here. Retest.
挂钩成全齐全平平胶带固定，再加衣架遮弯，用纸在平底扎一个小口，再倒入自来水，并平台调整滴水的频率，放在花盆上，外出10多天都不用浇水，很方便。
السلام عليكم. طريقة جديدة. مفتاح البوسيات. عمله ياد.
Trump is back at the White House after his Scotland trip. He's facing more pressure from Congress now to release files tied to late sex. And Trump is back at the White House after his Scotland trip. He's facing more pressure from Congress now to release files tied to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New this morning, Senator Chuck Schumer is invoking a rarely used law to try and force the DOJ to hand over those files to the Homeland Security Committee.
Si eres servidor público o contratista, esta información es para ti.
Breaking news out of Medellin, Colombia. Two stories. First one is about the excessive lines at MDE Airport in Rio Negro, as well as another lightning operation recently in Barranquilleras. Let's jump into the first one right away, but if you're not familiar with my channel, I report the news for Central and South America with a special attention on Medellin, Colombia, and Colombia as a whole. Let's jump into this first story right away. The Jose Maria Cordova migration crisis in Colombia was a foregone conclusion in 2024, says the mayor of Medellin, Colombia. Why are there lines of up to 6 hours at the Colombian Immigration Service at Jose Maria Cordova Airport? Medellin's mayor's office says the crisis was foreseeable as early as 2024. Here's what travelers are reporting and what the district is reporting to resolve the chaos. Following complaints from travelers who say they have to endure lines of up to 6 hours due to difficulties with immigration services at Jose Maria Cordova Airport in Rio Negro, complaints also reported by this newspaper. The Medellin mayor's office has stated that the issue was a foregone event starting in 2024 due to the exponential growth in tourists arriving in the terminal, which is the international gateway to the capital of Antioquia. According to the district, there is growing concern about the long lines and delays faced by international travelers at Jose Maria Cordova Airport, with wait times of more than 6 hours reported there to complete the immigration process to enter the country. This means
4 years of Joe Biden's presidency with Kamala Harris
and all the bull crap that she says and her little gypsy curses, and Joe Biden fumbling with I can't speak, all that. South Park never made one joke about them, not one. And now all of a sudden they get this new deal where $1.2 billion is thrown at them, $30 million an episode. They come out with the stupid stuff about Trump, and I don't care, make fun of Trump all you want. But it wasn't even good. They just made him Saddam Hussein from like 20 years ago. They literally same voice, the whole same bit. And I guess they came out with another episode where Cartman is now Charlie Kirk. Again, make fun of all the right-wing characters you want. Because generally it's kind of a compliment. If you're if you're relevant enough for South Park to be making fun of, you got a lot of influence. And so hats off to Charlie Kirk for having like one of the biggest political organizations in the world being a 31-year-old man. Like, good job. You made it. It's just, I find it funny that South Park never did anything with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Not one. And all of a sudden now this money's getting thrown at them and they're going after right-wing people. It's kind of funny. 4 years of Joe Biden's presidency with Kamala Harris, and all the bull crap that she says and her little gypsy curses, and Joe Biden fumbling with I can't speak, all that. South Park never made one joke about them, not one. And now all of a sudden they get this new deal where $1.2 billion is thrown at them, $30 million an episode. They come out with the stupid stuff about Trump, and I don't care, make fun of Trump all you.
Donald Trump sued CBS for reporting on him in a way he didn't like. And they settled the court.
Lidera la incubación con la maestría oficial.
Okay, just a quick heads up, it is 5:53.
Confirming what I did. How do you prove you're a citizen without due process? I have a birth certificate and a certificate. You can't get that. You're in jail. How do you get it? I'm on your website right now. You have it right now. I have a real ID. No, someone had a real ID on a work site. They were still arrested by us. They said it was fake. You don't have to have a trial to know it's fake and commit a crime. So we just believe the federal government if they say that. I can say that you were in MS-13 and send you to another country. Right, but how do you prove that without a trial? The problem is, if you don't have a trial, then we don't have freedom.
That's not true.
If they're hiding, then how are they getting arrested at immigration court?
How do you take your award? Our Bill of Rights doesn't apply to anybody outside this country.
Yes, but it applies to everyone inside this country.
Not legally, it applies.
It applies to everyone in this country. That's why we're the freest country.
Get the fuck out there right there with ours.
I don't want you to get disappeared by the government.
Our country, not yours.
It's in our lives, guys.
Apparently not.
You want to send the military to Los Angeles? Get ready for them to come to your town.
I'll beat you dinner. Don't tread on me.
Who's the kids? Okay,
Straight up there, what you say?
because they took your job. I'm sorry for that.
I got a great book. That's great.
So they're not hurting you in any way. So they've done nothing to you. I love you, sir. I believe you. I will fight for you. If you say something the government doesn't like and they arrest you, I'll stand outside the courthouse.
Asking people about due process. Do you know what due process is?
Well, I'm sure a lot of what is going on right now, and you're going to get me all emotional, is the fact that some people do not have due process. They need to be heard.
It's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
You're not here to support the military.
No, I'm here to support the military brigade. I'm here not to support the President of the United States. I am all for the Army. My husband's a Marine.
Well, yes, your husband serves his country, not a president.
Exactly.
How do you prove you're a citizen?
Aguántala, soldador.
Can you speak English? Yes, you know, Emma. Sounds like you're in England. Well, we're in England, so why would you be speaking Spanish? Well, you should speak English. I don't know. You're not saying something about me. It's rude.
Oh, right, yeah, not what I was saying. That's what you are, isn't it?
In our country, you should be speaking our language. And if not, Google Translate your language. They'll speak their language. No, they're not talking about us. That is true. You're very interesting of a person. If you're talking about their state or countries.
This wasn't your conversation.
It doesn't matter if you're studying a way to be taking refugees or taking life. She can't just speak simple English. That was all the efficient terms. In this is in England, speaking English.
So you go on.
Adios, Buddha. In England, you need to speak English. speaking at her. And I would love it. If not, Google translate your language.
You see this guy right here? His name's Giovanni Capriglione, and he's a politician in Texas, or at least he was, until the truth came out. In reality, he's an ultimate MAGA scumbag who's responsible for helping pass the most restrictive abortion ban in American history. No exceptions for rape, no exceptions for incest, and the penalty is 99 years in prison. Now, there's just one problem for this so-called Christian. For 17 of the 22 years this dude has been married, he's been having an affair with this woman. And even more hypocritical than that, he paid for this woman to have multiple abortions. Now, she just came out and told her entire story, revealed the truth, bless her heart for doing that. And I just want to say, this is emblematic of the MAGA movement as a whole. They don't believe in anything other than power. They just want to control women, control other people's lives. They're not Christian, they're not authentic, they don't have principles. And it's proven most of all by the person who they elected president, the ultimate criminal, the ultimate sexual assaulter, Donald J. Trump. Now, you see this guy right here? His name's Giovanni Capriglione, and he's a politician in Texas, or at least he was, until the truth came out. In reality, he's an ultimate MAGA scumbag who's responsible for helping pass the most restrictive abortion ban in American history. No exceptions for rape, no exceptions for incest, and the penalty is 99 years in prison. Now, there's just one problem for this so-called Christian. For 17 of the 22 years this dude has been married, he's been having an affair with this woman. And even more hypocritical than that, he paid for this woman to have multiple abortions. Now, she just came out and told her entire story, revealed the truth, bless her heart for doing that. And I just want to say, this is emblematic of the MAGA movement as a whole. They don't believe in anything other than power. They just want to control women, control other people's lives. They're not Christian, they're not authentic, they don't have principles. And it's proven most of all by the person who they elected as president, the ultimate criminal, the ultimate sexual assaulter, Donald J. Trump. Now, you see this guy right here?
Just dare to touch me again and you'll know exactly who I am.
I'm James Patrick, the director of Big Picture Now Watch. In this interview I conducted with David Webb, we discussed the issue of markets being manipulated. How are they manipulated? Is the gold price manipulated? How is this done? How much of the markets do you think are manipulated as far as, let's say gold, for example. Do you think the gold price we have is a real gold price, or how?
No. No.
So how does that work?
Well, I think lots of people know by the way gold has traded for a long time that it will reach certain points where an enormous volume of gold will be sold on a paper basis. So it's not the real physical metal. And this is a case of Wag the Dog where they've created paper instruments that just dwarf the physical reality of anything. So that way they can put a blanket on things and control the real world through the artificial world of of financialization. So there's a feedback mechanism from the artificial paper into the pricing of the real stuff. They can control the artificial. So what people have seen is all of a sudden, $1 billion worth of gold will be sold in a very short period of time, which is done in such a way that it clearly shows that a rational investor is not behind that. It's not something that a real seller would do in order to maximize their prices on the sale. It is done in a way to collapse the price and
Rep Roselia Banks posted one of the most disgusting tweets I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe what she's saying in this tweet because all she's doing is she's justifying pedophilia. Seriously, this is what she said, and I may need to censor some of this just to keep YouTube from striking my content. She says, okay, in Donald Trump's defense, 14-year-old girls was really only made a social taboo in the 1990s. My grandmother was born in 1927 and had her first child with
Ghislaine Maxwell is the daughter of the publishing baron Robert Maxwell. She was raised in astounding privilege and wealth. And what she did every morning is go out hunting for young girls to bring them to Jeffrey Epstein. And it was there around Epstein where some of the richest and most powerful people in the world, the men and women, saw all.
Por ejemplo, Dani, I got one thing to say. For a fact, that's good shit, so. Hopefully. For a fact, that's good shit, so. Hopefully. Every time this fucking song comes in, you're like, you don't understand what it's saying. The way this it's famous, it's old, yeah. Bitch, I'm free. Bitch. Out in a turn of a. There was a sweetheart plea deal that was made underneath the Obama administration with Epstein, and that sweetheart has not been exposed. I'll teach you the one-day bestseller method. Did you see that hunt?
Beetroot on its own supports blood pressure, stamina, and circulation.
Did you see?
Beetroot on its own support.
Shake off. I wrote a song for all the things she did. I was coming the other way. Yeah, they were all the other way. Shake off. I wrote a song for all the things she did.
If you're a Trump supporter at this point, you like underage kids. Yeah, and if you're a female, you support the man in your household that does. Or you're protecting your dad or your brothers. Yep. That's why you don't speak up. That's why you say, oh, absolutely not. This is the final straw. I don't support him any longer. Are you kidding me? It's because this is familiar behavior to you. This is how you grew up. You like people like that. Because, it's just so easy to just turn a blind eye and pretend it's not really facts. Instead of confronting people and holding them accountable. Because it's the racism that overshadows everything that you love. If you're a Trump supporter at this point, you like underage kids. Yeah, and if you're a female, you support the man in your household that does. Or you're protecting your dad or your brothers. Yep. That's why you don't speak up. That's why you say, oh, absolutely not. This is the final straw. I don't support him any longer. Are you kidding me? It's because this is familiar behavior to you. This is how you grew up. You like people like that. Because, it's just so turn a blind eye and pretend it's not really facts instead of confronting people and holding them accountable. Because it's the racism that overshadows everything that you love. So why would you turn around and say absolutely not? He likes kids. It's because you do too. So why bring it up? Why let it be the breaking point? Because if you did, then you'd have to go, oh, well, I'm not really a racist either, and yeah, that's probably not a good thing either. We know you. You're so easy to figure out. If you're a Trump supporter at this point, you like underage kids. Yeah, and if you're a female, you support the man in your household that does. Or you're protecting your dad or your brothers. Yep. That's why you don't speak up. That's why you say, oh, absolutely not. This is the final straw. I don't support him any longer. Are you kidding me? It's because this is from the
Overfed ICE agents, the bottom of the federal
Los alemanes descubrieron una.
Oh, better sit up before you guys all in trouble.
And look at that. Before who get in trouble? When Dr. G comes in, I don't get in trouble. I'm a grown woman. If Dr. G come here and say something to me, she might want to have a little word, a conversation, but I won't be in trouble. I'm grown. The only person I'll ever be in trouble with is my mama and God. If right now neither one of them is disappointed in me, thank you. Hello. Your OCD can get you a felony charge. True story. And police find your OCD can get you a felony charge. True story. And police find multiple little bags of weed or pills. They're not thinking this person likes this. Just an automaker. Cuts for hospitals. Until their hospitals got cut. To break this down, I'm Brady contributor Chris Mowry. Watch until the end and check this out. Thank you. All right, there's a really wild story I want to talk about today. There's a small town in Missouri, a rural area that overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and they only have one hospital in this area. It's been serving the community for over 7 decades, has stayed open as the community has shrunk. They used to have Walmart, the only Walmart in the area, closed, and through a lot of economic downturn, they have been able to stay open. But unfortunately, because of Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, there are fears that it may close. In a town that overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and frankly, I don't think they realized they were voting for this, and I want to talk about it today. Before we get into it, if you're new here, it'd mean a lot if you click like and subscribe. I'm 23 years old. My name's Chris Mallory. I'm basically a Gen Zer who screams all the time about how Republicans suck, so if you want to stay on top of the news, here's some of my takes. It'd mean a lot if you subscribe down below. Before we hop into this story, this is a theme we're seeing with MAGA and Trump supporters, and I don't really know how I feel so much of saying, fuck around, find out, like these people deserve what they're getting. I really think most of the blame should go to Donald Trump for conning the American public, but it's not a level. I see you guys in the comments, I hear you, it's kind of mind-boggling. This went really viral the other day, it's on LinkedIn, oddly enough. A woman owns business. I'm getting a lot of hateful messages since my last post about my business struggles. Yes, my husband did vote for Trump, and yes, Trump's tariffs have seriously disrupted my supply chain and hurt my business. That said, I still support my husband. He voted for what he truly believed was right. It's complicated, but so is life. But like, on an issue like this, is it complicated though? Like, really? This is where I got to get to the point where I'm like, okay, fuck around, find out. He's told you a million times he's going to implement tariffs. And it really was pretty simple. He was lying to your face when he said tariffs are paid for by other countries. People like you and I screamed, hey, they're not. They're going to be paid for by American businesses, and this could really hurt. You know what to think down below. We see people like Ellie just the last few days. A month ago, Latinas for Trump co-founder Blas, quote, inhumane immigrant arrest Florida State Senator and co-founder of Latinas for Trump issued a sharp rebuke of President Trump on Sunday as his administration seeks to ramp up deportations and other actions against migrants without legal status. Garcia took particular issue with reported tactics in southern Florida where immigration officials have allegedly been making arrests and immigration courts and taking other steps to target individuals otherwise in compliance with legal orders. She posts on Twitter, quote, this is not what we voted for. I've always supported Trump through thick and thin. However, this is unacceptable and inhumane. Regardless of how you feel toward these individuals, we're here now. And we can use a lot of this momentum as we say, look, Donald Trump is awful on immigration. He's awful on tariffs. He's ripping people off their health insurance with the big, beautiful bill. And now it's time to punch back and let people know, hey, now you realize it's so much you voted for. You got to get out there in 2026 so we can change this country. Lastly, we've seen this all the time. People just generally regretting voting for Donald Trump. It's now related to foreign policy and Iran. I trusted you. I'm done with MAGA and all your bullshit related to bombing Iran. He promised to end wars, stop no new wars. He's not like every other politician who starts wars. And obviously he hasn't ended any wars.
¿Quieren una mesita de noche mágica que haga que su habitación tenga un ambiente realmente genial? Pues esta de té es lo que se cura.
Alabama man, who supported President Donald Trump is experiencing, well, he's getting the day he voted for. In an interview with Reuters published on Monday, a construction site superintendent named Robbie Robinson had expressed a little bit of frustration at the way the Trump administration's hardline immigration policies have impacted his business. Oh no! Oh, I was in favor of all of this until it affected me. Oh, great. Now, he said that trouble at his work site began in late May, shortly after ICE had a 4-day raid on a construction site in Tallahassee, which he said scared off nearly his entire workforce for several days afterwards. No kidding. Now, that was a couple months ago. Is he back to full strength? No. No. In fact, 2 months later, only a little more than half of his workforce, his 22-strong roofing team, actually returned to work. He's now got just around a dozen workers left, so that's not good. Now, obviously, the impact of this cannot be, well, it can't be overstated, right? The lack of the workforce has severely slowed down his current project, which he said had been projected to be finished already. So they're still working on it. Okay, but what's the problem there? Well, I mean, it's obviously a problem for the customer, the person that you're building for, right? But also a problem for the company because they're facing a potential $84,000 in additional costs due to these delays. There is a liquidated damages clause of $4,000 per day every day the project runs beyond its deadline. Who knew that losing about half your workforce would actually end up costing you far more in the long run? Oops. Oh, man. Oh, see? That's unfortunate. Real unfortunate. Okay. Now, Robertson told Reuters, quote, I'm a Trump supporter, but I don't think the raids are the answer. Once again, now that it affected you, you speak up, of course. Let me just ask, though, what part of mass deportations did you not understand? Trump said, I'm going to do mass deportation. I'm going to deport 11 million illegals, and that's it. Well, that's exactly what he's doing, except that's not just what he's doing. In order to hit those numbers, he has his immigration czar, borders, or whatever, and Stephen Miller have decided, okay, so it's not that easy to get the immigrants, right? To get the criminals, because there ain't that many criminals. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are just going to take away, the ability for immigrants to work legally in the United States. And then we're going to arrest them. And that's why, of course, they're not like busting immigrants in drug dens. They're not going into dangers, like, gang-related warfare. We're going to go right into the middle of that. We're going to arrest everybody. We're going to get all the criminals out. No, they're going to the workplaces. They're going to schools. They're going to churches. Okay, but mostly to the workplaces.
Weird. Well, we were told that they weren't working, that everyone's didn't work, and that they were thinking about it. Toma y controle tus costos de trading. Exness, on to trading.
Go for it. If you cross the
Lidera la
oh,
innovación
it's
con la
already
maestría
done,
oficial
man.
universitaria en mecánica de
Wow.
fluidos computacional. Matrícula abierta, plazas limitadas, docentes de prestigio mundial. Flexibilidad horaria 100% online 20 meses. Reconocimiento oficial, vente a Tech y aprovecha la mayor facultad de ingeniería del mundo. Some big news coming out of Texas. This state might be flippable, baby, because we have a Senate race coming up next year. We've got some great candidates who are running, maybe running, and C. Bannon, of all people, is actually yelling red alarm because things are not looking good for Donald Trump in the Buckeye State. Now, we have some polling here that says that now, for instance, Donald Trump won the state by 14 points. He won Texas by 14 points. Now, Donald Trump's approval rating there is actually underwater. This is one of the most conservative states in the country, and he now has a higher disapproval rating than his approval rating in Texas. 44% approve, which is the same to me, than 44% of anyone approve what's going on. 51% of Texans disapprove of how Donald Trump is doing it. We all know they told you trading was about strategy. They lied. It's not about entries or exits. It's about staying calm when the market tries to break you. Because the chart isn't just price, it's a mirror. And every time you click buy, it reflects who you really are. Today, you'll meet a trader who didn't conquer the market with luck. He conquered it by mastering himself. His name isn't famous, but his discipline is legendary. $5,000, no indicators, no secrets. Just a mind trained to move like the market, clean, fast, ruthless. This is the story of Ethan Park and how he became the kind of trader the market couldn't break. You wouldn't notice him if you passed him on the street. Just another quiet guy in a hoodie, sipping burnt coffee from a corner 7-Eleven, eyes heavy from too many nights staring at charts. No Rolex, no Lambo, just a mind that had been forged in solitude. His name is Ethan Park, and his story didn't begin on Wall Street. It began in a dim apartment in Koreatown, Los Angeles, with a $5,000 account, a refurbished laptop, and a question no trading course could answer. How do I stop sabotaging myself? Ethan wasn't looking for a strategy. He was looking for a system that could survive his own nervous system. The fear, the greed, the hesitation, the rush of false confidence after a green day and shame spiral after a red one. He'd been there. He'd overtraded after a win. He'd frozen on clean breakouts. He'd blown accounts chasing someone else's setup. And one night, after losing 22% of his capital in a single trade, he shut off every indicator. No RSI, no MACD, no Guru watch lists, just the candles, just the volume, just the truth. He opened a historical chart of Tesla 2013 and began replaying it, bar by bar, candle by candle. At first, he was just trying to see where he would have entered. But after an hour, something strange happened. He wasn't looking at the chart anymore, he was feeling it. He noticed how volume pulsed before the breakout, how price consolidated like it was holding its breath, how every explosion was preceded by an eerie calm. He stayed up until 4 a.m. that night, then did it again the next night, and the next. It became a ritual, not glamorous, not exciting, just month-level repetition. While other traders hunted for the next big thing, Ethan replayed First Solar from 2008, Shopify from 2016, Nvidia from 2019. He wasn't collecting strategies, he was burning structure into his subconscious. He called it his silent edge. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, something changed. He stopped flinching on volatility. He stopped chasing moves that didn't align. He started seeing setups before they formed, not because he was psychic, but because he'd already seen the story 1,000 times in 100 different ways. This wasn't backtesting. It was nervous system conditioning. While most traders practiced reaction, Ethan was building recognition. He wasn't trying to predict the market. He was trying to become someone the market couldn't shake. One night, while studying a failed breakout in an old biotech chart, he wrote in his journal, "The market doesn't care how much I know. It only rewards who I am when the pressure hits." That line stayed with him, because he realized he didn't need more knowledge. He needed more identity alignment. He wasn't a scalper. He wasn't a gambler. He wasn't here to guess. He was here to master one thing: patience under pressure. The next few months became brutal. He stopped trading for a while, focused on replaying charts, journaling his emotions, and defining one question for every single setup.
Pick it
Can I
all
execute
up.
this
Pick
cleanly
it all
even if
up.
it fails? Not can I
1,
win,
2,
but can I live
3,
with the loss?
4,
That's when the real
5,
edge began.
6.
He realized the trade wasn't the candles. The trade was the moment before the click, the breath before entry, the story he told himself when price pulled back, the silence between the noise. Ethan wasn't building a strategy anymore. He was sculpting a self-regulating system, one that filtered trades through emotional bandwidth, one that said, if I can't hold this with peace, I don't deserve to enter. And soon, he was doing something rare. He was passing on great-looking trades, because they didn't match his temperament. That was the turning point. He wasn't just trading setups. He was trading structure that matched who he was becoming. And when that alignment clicked, when the $5,000 account stopped feeling like a lottery ticket and started feeling like a workshop, everything changed. His win rate didn't skyrocket overnight. His P&L wasn't vertical, but his clarity did. His peace of mind grew. His conviction, once fragile, now had a spine. And trade by trade, day by day, candle by candle, he carved out something no one could take from him. A system built not on noise, but on obsession. The edge, Ethan would later say, was never the strategy. The edge was who I became while mastering it. When Ethan finally deleted the last indicator from his screen, he didn't feel free. He felt naked. For years, he'd leaned on them like crutches. RSI told him when to enter. MACD told him when to exit. Bollinger Bands gave him false confidence. And when it all failed, he blamed the tools, never the operator. But one day, after another perfectly textbook setup broke down and wrecked his confidence, he stared at the screen. fists clenched, heart pounding, and whispered, "What if the market isn't broken? What if it's just not listening to my indicators?" That question stayed with him. He opened a new chart. Blank, just candles and volume. No overlays, no moving averages, no colors screaming for attention. It felt uncomfortable, like walking through a city you've lived in for years but without Google Maps. He couldn't see anything anymore. But slowly he started to notice things he had never truly seen before. He saw how price would tighten, almost as if holding its breath, how volume would vanish just before it returned in a tidal wave, how a chart would behave, not statistically, but emotionally, right before it moved. He began asking new questions, not, is this oversold, but who's trapped here? Not, did the 50 EMA cross the 200, but does this chart look like someone's accumulating quietly? And that changed everything. Because Ethan realized trading wasn't about numbers. It was about narratives, emotion, pressure, structure, behavior. The indicators had made him a consumer of signals, but the market demanded a reader of behavior.
Los adolescentes están creando negocios con IA, mientras que la única IA que conoces es ChatGPT.
Leaders had made him a consumer of signals, but the market demanded a reader of behavior. He began studying how volume dries up before a breakout, how a clean range with rising higher lows compresses stress like a coiled spring. He watched how weak hands exited just before the real move. He learned that fakeouts weren't failures, they were filters. And he noticed a pattern. Every time a chart screamed too obvious, it usually meant everyone else had missed the preparation phase. That was the difference. The masses were waiting for confirmation. Ethan was watching for conviction. He began tracking charts like a psychologist reads patients, not looking for confirmation bias, but for breaks in behavior. He understood something most traders never grasp. Charts are expressions of mass psychology, compressed into time, price, and volume. Compressed into time, price, and volume. They aren't random, they're emotional fingerprints. And those fingerprints, they were everywhere. He noticed how stocks with clean trends had minimal noise, the kind of structure institutions prefer. And the messy charts, they were full of indecision, of retail panic, of unsustainable emotion. He stopped chasing those. He called them chaos charts. They might be moving, but they weren't worth moving with. Instead, he focused on clean behavior. The kind of charts where you could draw a single trend line and know exactly where your risk was. The kind of price action that didn't shout, but whispered steadily, confidently, "There's strength here, quiet strength." The deeper he went, the clearer his system became. No indicators, no predictions, no ego. Just structure, volume, and behavior. One night, while reviewing a breakout on a biotech name that had surged 300%, he wrote this in his journal. "The candles never lied. I just never listened without noise." That line marked a turning point. He realized that every time he leaned on an indicator, he was outsourcing responsibility, letting something else decide, blaming the tool when things went wrong. But trading, he now understood, wasn't a game of answers. It was a game of observation, of noticing the subtle shifts before the obvious becomes obvious. He started trusting his own pattern memory. He could feel when a stock was ready, not from signal crossovers, but from behavior, tight ranges, volume clustering, controlled pullbacks, rising relative strength. He wasn't trying to catch bottoms or tops, he was trying to synchronize with the market's rhythm. And here's the irony. By removing the tools, Ethan became more mechanical, not less. His trades became cleaner, his stops tighter, his exits more logical. Because without indicators, he had to build rules rooted in price behavior, not colored lines. He designed criteria like only trade stocks with clean weekly structure. Enter on reclaim of VWAP only if volume confirms. Avoid any chart that makes you hesitate. He understood that hesitation is feedback. If your brain isn't clear, the chart isn't clean. And if the chart isn't clean, the trade isn't yours. What happened next surprised even him. His win rate didn't just improve. His stress dropped, his patience grew, and most importantly, he stopped needing the market to obey him. Because he finally respected it enough to trade what was, not what he hoped it would be. "I don't need to predict anymore," he later said. "I just need to recognize the moment the market invites me in." And that's the quiet power of behavior-based trading. No fluff, no lagging signals, just price speaking loud enough if you're silent enough to listen. Ethan never clicked buy just because the chart looked good. He waited, he watched, and when the moment came, he didn't hesitate. That's what made him different. While other traders flooded into breakouts like a stampede, eyes wide, hearts pounding, sizing up full throttle like this was the one, Ethan approached every trade like a sniper setting up on a rooftop, calm, precise, and dangerously patient. Because for him, an entry wasn't just a trade, it was a statement of control. And control, to Ethan, meant never going in blind. He never
full size. Not once. He didn't take the trade. He probed it, like a scientist running an experiment, like a soldier tapping the wall for traps. His first entry was never about profit, it was about information. Usually 25 to 30% of his intended size, just enough skin in the game to care, but small enough to stay detached. That first slice told him everything. Was volume confirming? Was the pullback orderly? Did the breakout trigger emotion, structure? If it failed, he cut it. No hesitation, no pain, no spiral. Because he never risked more than he was ready to learn from. But if it held, if the price coiled around VWAP, if the 10-day moving average acted like a springboard, if the buyer stepped in and soaked up every dip, he added, deliberately, mechanically, without emotion. This was the core of his trigger system. You don't earn full size at entry. You let the market give you permission. Each ad wasn't an act of confidence, it was a response to behavior. He wasn't hoping the setup worked. He was watching it prove itself to him, one level at a time. And when it did, he scaled in again. That's how Ethan went full size, not in one motion, but in layers, each one validated by market structure, not adrenaline. He compared it to building a tower. You don't stack bricks on a shaky foundation, he once said. You test the ground, you pour concrete, then you build one level at a time. That mindset saved him, not just from losses, but from himself. Because most traders build their entire position on that first candle, that first signal. And when price wobbles, they wobble with it. They average down, they freeze, they get shaken out at the exact moment the real move begins. Ethan didn't play that game. He designed his entries so that even if he was wrong, he stayed alive. He preserved energy, capital, and most importantly, clarity. That clarity became his edge. Because trading isn't a game of perfect timing, it's a game of recovery speed. And with his sniper-style scaling system, Ethan never had to recover from deep wounds, only tiny cuts, each one painless, each one a lesson. But here's the part most traders never see. The same system that protected him from bad entries also amplified the good ones. When a stock did behave, when it confirmed, when it triggered cleanly, Ethan was already inside, ready, focused, with a small position acting like a scope. He wasn't reacting anymore, he was participating. And when the breakout exploded, he was already scaled in, full size, fully structured, emotionally neutral. This is how he turned ordinary setups into exceptional outcomes, not by predicting, but by preparing to add only when invited. He never needed to guess. He just needed to be there when the chart said, now. One day, a trader in a forum asked him, how do you know when to trust a breakout? Ethan replied, I don't trust breakouts. I trust my system's response to the breakout. That was the secret. He built a structure where the market told him what to do, not his emotions. Because here's the truth. Most traders want to feel in control. Ethan wanted to be controlled by process, not impulse. He even journaled his scaling process religiously. Entry number 1, $52.30, low volume probe. Entry 2, $53.1 reclaim of range high plus volume. Entry number 3, $54.60, breakout confirmed, sector leading, full size engaged. 3 entries, 3 confirmations, 0 panic. His entries looked like poetry, but behind every line was a brutal discipline, forged in failure, refined by iteration, and executed with surgical calm. It wasn't just what he traded, it was how he built it. Because position size wasn't a button. It was a conversation, a dialogue between him and the chart, between patience and proof, between aggression and control.
Jesus Christ!
And that's why Ethan didn't
49!
trades a week. He only needed
Jesus
and when he
Christ!
struck with clarity, control, and confirmation. He was a sniper, and every entry was a trigger pull with conviction, not hope.
There.
You don't trade because you want action, he said.
Christ.
You trade because the chart earned your attention. And then
Oh my
pull the trigger
God!
like it's your last.
What happened here?
¿Viste una oficina completamente invisible? No.
Jesus
No es
Christ!
exhibición, es el futuro.
I lost my mind!
Ya, está aquí.
Oh
Imagínate,
my
estos son las
God!
8. Ya
I lost my mind!
Vas a tu oficina, estás en tu cocina con tu café favorito, etcétera, etcétera. Tu oficina es tu mesa de comedor. Tu jefe está en tu en persona. Siguen ganando en pesos. Cindy, antes chef en Barranquilla, ahora gana más del doble de su salario. Alejandro, técnico
Bullet. Ethan didn't fear red candles. He feared one thing, becoming the kind of of trader who couldn't survive them. It's easy to look at a chart in hindsight and say, should have cut there, should have sized smaller, should have walked away. But in real time, when the trade is live,
Fuck.
when your money's already in, and your heart rate jumps with every tick, you don't have time to think. That's why Ethan built his rule. One rule, unbreakable, non-negotiable. Never risk more than 1% of your account, ever. Not 2%, not 1.5%, just this once. 1%, period. And if the setup looked perfect, still 1%, because no setup is worth destroying clarity for. At first, it felt limiting, small, too conservative. He watched other traders size up big and score massive wins, but he also watched them crash, hard. He watched their confidence turn to rage, then denial, then silence. And he realized it's not the red trade that destroys you. It's the red spiral that follows when your size is too big to breathe. When you risk 5%, 10%, 15% of your account on a single idea, you're no longer trading strategy, you're trading hope. And hope has no stop loss. Ethan didn't want to trade on hope. He wanted to think clearly. That was his real edge. So he sized his positions with one outcome in mind: emotional neutrality. Because when your position size is small enough to stay calm, you can follow your plan. You can exit logically, you can re-enter without shame, and that's where consistency lives. He developed a formula so simple, so boring, it felt almost childish. Account size 1%, square stop distance equals position size. If a stock had a wide stop, he took smaller size, tight stop.
Wow,
Go
that
a little
was
bigger.
incredible, man.
Total risk, never more than 1%. No exception. And because he scaled in rather than all in, his first entry was often well below 1%. It gave him breathing room. It gave him options. But here's where it got interesting. Ethan didn't size based only on risk. He factored in liquidity, volatility, slippage potential. If a stock only traded 200,000 shares a day, he'd skip it or cut size in half. If it was thin and fast moving, he sized down, because he never wanted to become the liquidity. And he never let his confidence blind him. Even after a string of winners, even when everything lined up, risk stayed fixed, because he knew. Confidence is what gets traders to size up. Humility is what keeps them alive. This is why Ethan was still here, still trading, still growing when so many others vanished. Most traders focus on maximizing profit. Ethan focused on minimizing regret. He built a system designed not to chase windfalls, but to compound clarity. He understood the real cost of oversizing wasn't just losing money, it was losing perspective. Because the second your position size triggers your nervous system into fight or flight mode, you're no longer analyzing a chart. You're reacting to threat. You cut winners early. You hold losers too long. You start begging the market to rescue you. And the moment you beg, you're already broken. Ethan didn't trade from that place. He refused to. That's why 1% wasn't just a number. It was a boundary, a line that separated who he was from who the market wanted to turn him into. And it worked. Because while others flamed out in emotional chaos, Ethan was still at the screen. Calm, objective, present. He could take 10 trades in a row and still feel light, still have energy, still see clearly. Why? Because no single trade ever defined him. Not the win, not the loss, not even the missed opportunity. Every trade was just another iteration. Another brick in a system designed to last. And that's the irony. Most traders think big risk equals big returns. But Ethan knew small, consistent risk is what gives you the power to stay long enough to let your edge do its job. He didn't care about being right. He cared about being here tomorrow, next week, next year. And slowly, his account grew. Not in explosive moonshots, but in measured stair steps. Because when your risk is constant, your execution sharpens. Your psychology stabilizes and your edge begins to breathe. That's what made Ethan unbreakable. Not some genius entry, not some secret setup, but a single 1% risk, no matter what. That protected his capital, but more importantly, it protected his mind. You don't survive this game by being aggressive, he once said. You survive by being emotionally bulletproof. Most traders ask, what stock should I buy today? Ethan never asked that question. He asked, where is the money starting to move before anyone else sees it? Because while others hunted for tickers, he hunted for narratives, for capital rotation, for themes that hadn't made headlines yet, but were already whispering under the surface. He understood something most traders never grasp. Stocks don't move in isolation. They move in packs. attention, fueled by belief and powered by liquidity. So Ethan stopped scanning charts randomly. He started scanning sectors. He tracked themes like a detective follows a pattern of crimes: AI, biotech, solar, semiconductors.
Aquí está la tablet Android, viral en TikTok. Es realmente económica. Esta fantástica tablet es
Themes like a detective follows a pattern of crimes: AI, biotech, solar, semiconductors. He didn't wait for CNBC to tell him what was hot. He let price strength tell the story. Quietly, early, honestly. Each morning, before the market opened, Ethan pulled up his theme board. He'd check SMH for semis, TAN for solar, XLE for energy, XLV for healthcare, RK for innovation plays. He wasn't just looking for green candles, he was looking for relative strength over time. 3-month, 6-month, 12-month. Is this sector outperforming the S&P? Are multiple names making new highs together? Is this just noise, or is capital quietly moving here? That was his edge, because by the time most traders noticed the sector heating up, Ethan was already building his watch list. He saw it first in the leaders, the quiet names that started to perk up before the theme exploded. One day in early 2023, while the world still debated whether AI was a passing trend, Ethan noticed something different. BigBear.ai broke a key level. Then SoundHound AA. Then a small cap called Good Food with a sketchy balance sheet suddenly doubled in 2 days. That wasn't luck. That was early signal. He didn't need a catalyst. He didn't need breaking news. He just needed price and volume, and 3 or more names in a single sector starting to breathe the same way. That's when he leaned in. Because when themes align, everything gets easier. Entries become cleaner, breakouts run longer, risk reward becomes asymmetrical. It wasn't about one stock, it was about surfing a wave, not standing still but moving with the story. Ethan often said, don't chase a stock's past performance, chase the theme's current attention. Because in markets, attention is capital, and capital is fuel, and fuel moves price. Most traders didn't get this. They focused on one ticker, one setup, one candle. Ethan zoomed out. He saw sectors rotating like seasons. 1 month energy, next month AI, next a biotech wave off an FDA approval. He watched the environment, not just the setup, because if the tide wasn't moving, he didn't care how pretty the chart looked. He passed on hundreds of clean setups because they weren't in sync with any theme. And when a theme was hot, he pressed harder with confidence and clarity. I'd rather trade a B+ setup inside an A+ theme, he once said, than an A+ chart in a dead sector. Why? Because in hot themes, capital compounds, momentum stacks, conviction grows, and even if you miss one name, another is lining up right behind it. That's how Ethan built consistency, not by finding magic stocks, but by finding meaningful movement. He built a system around it. Every week, he'd rate sector strength from 1 to 10. Note emerging narratives, track volume surges in smaller cap names before the large caps followed it. He called this his whisper list, because before themes scream, they whisper, and only traders quiet enough can hear it. That list told him where to look. But his system told him when to strike. Clean chart, structure forming, volume confirming. Then he moved. Not with fear, not with FOMO, but with precision, knowing that the theme itself had his back. And when the theme began to fade, he stepped back. He didn't try to force trades. He didn't argue with momentum. He just watched, waited, recalibrated. Because Ethan knew this brutal truth. Most losses don't come from bad charts. They come from trading in dead water. And that's what separated him. While others clicked randomly through tickers, hoping to get lucky, Ethan was following the money with structure, not stories. He didn't chase hype. He read flow. He didn't need to be early. He just needed to be aligned. That's what made the difference. Because when you trade inside a theme that's alive, even your mistakes bleed less. Even your pullbacks recover faster, and your confidence stays intact. Not because you're right, but because you're swimming in the current, not against it. It's not about predicting the wave, Ethan once said. It's about paddling into the one that's already rising. And when you trade like that, you stop hunting tickers. You start surfing themes, and the market begins to feel less like a battlefield and more like a rhythm. Before Ethan entered a single trade, he asked himself one question. Can I hold this without second guessing every candle?
If the answer wasn't a hard yes, he skipped it. No matter how hot the theme was, no matter how strong the breakout looked, no matter how many others were chasing it on Twitter, because to Ethan, chart structure wasn't just technical, it was psychological insurance. He believed messy charts led to messy decisions, and messy decisions broke traders. That's why he built his system around one brutal standard. If the chart isn't clean, I don't touch it. But what does a clean chart actually mean? It's not about looking nice. It's about clarity, smooth trend lines, predictable pullbacks, no overlapping chop, no hidden landmines from 3 years ago, no wicks that look like lies. It's a chart that breathes with rhythm, that shows structure you can trust, that tells a story clearly, honestly, confidently. Ethan called these charts easy to hold. Because in the heat of battle, when your heart rate spikes, when the trade turns against you, when you're unsure whether to add or cut, you don't want to interpret chaos. You want to follow form. Clean charts gave him that form. They gave him peace of mind. Because when the setup is clean, you don't waste mental bandwidth on guesswork. You don't flinch on a red candle. You don't hesitate when price pulls back into the 10-day. You know where structure lives because you can see it. Compare that to a messy chart, erratic wicks, overlapping candles, fakeouts layered on top of fakeouts, volume that surges without conviction, resistance hiding like ghosts from 2021. Ethan stayed away from all of that because he knew if I can't hold it in peace, I can't scale it with confidence. And without scale, there's no edge, no growth, no real compounding. That's why clean charts weren't optional for him. They were foundational. He believed every candle told a psychological story. Clean charts meant accumulation by smart money. They meant order. They meant someone with size was in control. And if they were in control, he could ride with them, not against them. He wasn't just trading price. He was aligning with
Para una seguridad financiera única donde el dinero siempre es tuyo, solo hay un lugar, Exness, born to trade.
Hi, I'm Liam Neeson. Children in Gaza, Ukraine, Lebanon, Haiti,
them, not against them. He wasn't just trading price. He was aligning with behavior, structure, intent. Ethan often said, I don't want to fight the chart. I want to flow with it. And messy charts were fights. Every tick an argument. Every candle a courtroom drama. Clean charts, on the other hand, they whispered, trust me, the story is already being written. All you have to do is follow. That whisper was what Ethan waited for. He knew that clarity wasn't just technical, it was emotional. Because here's the real truth. Most traders don't lose because they're wrong. They lose because they can't stay in the trade long enough to be right. They panic, they hesitate, they micromanage. Why? Because the chart never felt trustworthy to begin with. And that's what Ethan avoided. Religiously. He once skipped a biotech setup that was up 300% on an earnings beat. Perfect theme. Strong volume, everyone was jumping in. But the chart, full of overlapping candles. Gap ups that got sold. Inconsistent range. No trend line worth drawing. Ethan walked away. 2 days later, the stock collapsed 40%. And in his journal, he wrote, the edge wasn't skipping the trade. The edge was entrusting my standard even when the world screamed otherwise. That standard kept him safe. But more than that, it kept him centered. Because when your chart is clean, you know where to enter. You know where your stop belongs. You know when it validates your setup. There's no ambiguity, no noise, no guessing. And when there's no guessing, your mind becomes quiet. Your breathing slows, your execution sharpens. This is the doctrine Ethan lived by. Clean chart, clean mind, clean trade. And over time, that discipline became his advantage. While others burned out chasing volatility and chaotic setups, Ethan stayed patient, waiting for the market to serve him structure on a silver platter. Sometimes he'd go days, weeks without placing a single trade. But when the clean one came, he struck precise, with no hesitation. Because clarity removes fear, and in trading, the absence of fear is the rarest alpha of all. The market already tells you what to do, Ethan once said. The problem is most traders are too distracted by clutter to hear it. So he cleared the clutter, he killed the noise, he chose structure over stimulation, and in doing so, he found peace inside chaos. That was the doctrine. Not complex, but uncompromising. Because in a storm, you don't need more information, you need a clean compass. And Ethan
chart. Clear, clean, and silent. So now you've seen it, not just a strategy, not just a checklist, but a mindset, a system, a way of becoming. Ethan Park didn't win because he was smarter. He won because he designed a system that fit his psychology better than the market could ever break it. He didn't trade to be right. He traded to be in rhythm with the structure, with the theme, with himself. He didn't chase setups, he trained for them. He didn't predict momentum, he waited for it to invite him in. And that's why his $5,000 wasn't just capital, it was the cost of transformation. The truth is, there is no holy grail, no magical indicator, no guru signal that will save you. The market doesn't reward strategy, it rewards alignment. So ask yourself, are you trading a system that fits you, one you copied from someone else? Are you scaling because of structure or out of fear? Are you risking to grow or risking to feel alive? Because trading isn't a test of knowledge. It's a test of identity under pressure. And until you stop trying to force the market to respect your strategy, you'll never learn to respect your own limits. But if you're still here, still watching, still breathing through the pain, still trying to build something that lasts, then maybe you're ready. Ready to stop chasing. Ready to start crafting. Ready to step into your system, designed for your temperament, your wiring, your edge. Because the edge was never in the chart. It was who you became inside the trade. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below. I'm building my system. Let the world know you're not here for hype. You're here for mastery. Subscribe if you're ready to go deeper into trading psychology, system design, and the quiet mindset behind real success. This isn't a channel for gamblers. It's for builders, for craftsmen, for those becoming someone the market can't shake. We'll see you in the next breakdown. Until then, trade clean, trade calm, trade like it's built for you.
Always hear about trading signals, but you could never make money with them? Okay, let me tell you a little.
Think about that. How is that possible? If the system was the answer, they should have all won, but they didn't. Because systems don't trade themselves. People do. And people come with bias, with emotion, with baggage, with beliefs about how things should be instead of how they actually are. So here's the real lesson. A system is only as good as the trader who executes it, and most traders, they don't need a better system. They need to become better at following the one they already have. But we don't want to hear that because it's not sexy. It's not dopamine. It doesn't give you something new to chase. It gives you something harder, responsibility. That's why the search never ends. You backtest one system, shows 65% win rate, looks good, you go live. For first 3 trades, losses. Suddenly, panic. It's not working. So what do? You tweak it. Add an indicator, change the stop loss, insert a new filter. Each change feels rational, feels smart. Feels like progress, but it's not. It's avoidance. It's an emotional reaction to discomfort, not a logical adjustment to data. Because here's what you don't want to admit. The system wasn't failing. You just couldn't stomach the randomness. Let's take a step back. Every system, no matter how robust, has losing streaks. It's part of the game. Markets expand, contract, trend, change. Your system is built for certain conditions. When those conditions shift, your edge draws down. But that doesn't mean it stopped working. It means you need patience. The rarest trait in retail trading. Top traders understand this. Tom Basso, they called him Mr. Serenity. He built a trend-following system so simple a child could trade it. Moving averages, entry signals, nothing fancy. But what made Tom a market wizard wasn't the system. It was his emotional stability. He didn't get excited on big wins, didn't panic on drawdowns. He followed the system like a machine. That calm, that consistency was his real edge. Now contrast that with Victor Niederhofer, Harvard PhD, genius level intellect, brilliant quant models, made millions and lost everything. Twice. Why? Not because his systems were flawed, they were genius, but because his ego couldn't handle being wrong. He tweaked, over-leveraged, over-believed, and the system couldn't save him from himself. So again, it's not about the system, it's about the hands holding it. Let me put it this way. You wouldn't hand a Formula One car to someone who just got their license. Why? Because without the skill, the speed becomes a liability. Same thing in trading. You want a high-powered, high-performance system? Great. But if you can't execute it with calm, discipline, detachment, you'll crash it. And the worst part? You'll blame the car. That's what most traders do. They don't realize they're the variable, not the system, not the market, not the broker. Then, here's a question. What holy grail are you secretly still hunting? That one perfect strategy, that one secret signal, that one YouTube channel, newsletter, or Discord server that will finally unlock it all. Let it go. Because here's what market wizards figured out long ago. Profitability isn't in the system. It's in your ability to follow it, to let it breathe, to survive the drawdowns, to resist the itch to improve it every time it hurts your feelings. That's where the money is, not in chasing new, but in mastering old. And here's something no one talks about. Best systems are boring, mind-numbing. They feel like brushing your teeth over and over. Same way, same motion. Why? Because the power isn't in the excitement, it's in the consistency. William O'Neill built Kansas. 7 variables, that's it. And he ran that same model for decades, while others jumped from idea to idea. He stuck to what worked and refined it. Depth, not variety. Let me leave you with this. Whatever system you're using right now, it's probably good enough. The question is, are you good enough for it? Can you follow it when it's not working? Can you trust it through the pain? Can you stop fixing it every time it doesn't give you what you want? Because the 95% will keep searching for better systems and stay broke. The 5%, they'll keep improving their ability to execute and get rich. Not because they found something magical, but because they finally accepted this brutal truth. The system doesn't make the trader. The trader makes the system work. Picture a casino, bright lights, no clocks, no windows, people cheering at blackjack tables, slot machines ringing with illusion, gamblers leaning in, praying, begging, chasing. Now look past the noise to the dealer. He doesn't flinch. He wins some, loses some. But his face stays still. No emotion, no reaction. Why? Because the dealer knows something the gambler doesn't. The individual outcome doesn't matter. He's not playing for the next hand. He's playing for the next 1,000. Now ask yourself, when you trade, are you the casino or are you the gambler? Because here's the brutal truth. Most traders, even smart ones,
Los adolescentes están creando negocios con IA, mientras que la única IA que conoces es ChatGPT. Seamos realistas, la mayoría de las personas mayores de 40 usan ChatGPT como si fuera Google. Copiar, pegar, hacer una pregunta básica y seguir adelante. Así no es como las personas inteligentes usan la IA. Mañana comenzamos el reto de IA de 28 días, principiantes mayores de 40. Solo 15 minutos al día, mejorar tus habilidades. En una semana te sentirás imparable. En 2 semanas tendrás tu estrategia. En un mes te preguntarás por qué no empezaste antes.
Because here's the brutal truth. Most traders,
Here, it's right here, my friend.
they obsess over trades.
Shit,
They
cuando
panic
le
on
falta
losses.
28
They celebrate
minutos.
wins like it means something. They're emotionally invested in every click. But the elite, the market wizards, they think differently. They think in probability. They understand this. Trade means nothing. Not the winner that makes you feel like a genius. Not the loser that makes you question everything. The only thing that matters over time is the edge. Let's break this down. Say you have a setup with a 60% win rate. You risk $100 to make $200. On paper, that's a great edge. But in real life, the wins won't come in order. You might see a streak like this. Win, win, loss, 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 win, 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 loss. Same edge, same system. Wild emotional swings. And this is where most traders crack. They think, my system's broken. I need a better entry. Or worse, I knew I shouldn't have taken that trade. But none of that is true. What's happening isn't failure, it's variance. It's just math being math. Let me be clear, even a perfect edge loses. A lot. Mark Douglas, author of Trading in the Zone, said it best. There is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. Read that again. Random. Distribution. Your next trade might lose. Even if your edge is rock solid, your next 10 trades might lose. And that doesn't mean anything is wrong. It just means you're in the middle of the probability curve. So what's the lesson? You need to detach from the outcome of individual trades completely. That doesn't mean you don't care. It means you stop assigning emotional value to random outcomes, because when you do, you stop trading the system and start trading your emotions. That's when the spiral begins. 1 loss, irritation. 2 losses, frustration. 3, self-doubt. 4, panic. 5, now you're revenge trading, doubling size, throwing out. Not because the edge failed, because you failed to think in probabilities. Here's an exercise. Before your next 20 trades, ask yourself, how badly do I need this trade to work? Rate it 1 to 10. Then track your execution. You'll discover something uncomfortable. The more you need a trade to win, the worse you perform. Need creates pressure. Pressure clouds judgment. Judgment ruins execution. And execution, not predictions, is what determines your long-term success. Professional traders get this. Monroe Trout, one of the most statistically minded market wizards, didn't care about individual trades. His entire philosophy was based on probability. I don't care about being right on any single trade. I care about executing thousands of trades where probability favors me. Result? He averaged 70% annual returns for over a decade. Not because he was smarter, but because he was unemotional, detached, focused on samples, not singles. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you're flipping a coin. Fair coin. 50-50. You flip heads 7 times in a row. Now, what are the odds on the 8th flip? Still 50%. But your brain doesn't think that way, does it? It looks for patterns and randomness. It starts expecting tails, or worse, believes it's due. This same cognitive bias happens in trading. You think 4 losses in a row means the 5th must win, or that a string of wins means you're on a hot streak. That's gambler thinking, and it will kill your account. But when you shift to casino thinking, everything changes. You stop reacting emotionally. You stop trying to fix what's not broken. You stop flinching during drawdowns. Because you know, if the math is solid and the execution is clean, the outcome is irrelevant. Let me repeat that. If the math is solid and the execution is clean, the outcome is irrelevant. 1 trade is noise. 10 trades is a pulse. 100 trades, now we're talking signal. This is why you must track performance in batches, not in isolation. Score your execution, not your P&L, because the market can pay you for doing the wrong thing and punish you for doing the right thing. That's the trap, and it's why most traders never make it out of the beginner cycle. They get emotionally attached to individual outcomes. They make decisions based on recent pain or pleasure, not statistical edge, and they ride the roller coaster until it breaks them. So, how do you get off? You start trading like a casino. You define your edge, you define your risk per trade, you define your sample size, 50, 100, 500 trades. And then you go to work. No attachment, no drama, just process. Clean setup, take it. Followed your rules, execute. Hit the stop, next trade. No stories, no second guessing, just probabilities playing out. This isn't cold, it's professional, and it's the only mindset that survives long enough to thrive. Because once you start thinking in probabilities, you stop trying to control outcomes and start controlling your response to randomness. That's where consistency lives.
Aquí está la tablet Android, viral en TikTok. Es realmente económica. Esta fantástica tablet es viral en TikTok. Así que veamos si es como todos dicen. Esta es la caja. Parece que ya está configurada. Veamos. Tiene una doble cámara. Puedes conectarle un teclado. Tiene un mouse, lápiz óptico y cargador USB. Buena cámara. Cámara frontal y trasera. Excelente duración de la batería. Me parece realmente genial. Es, de hecho, una mini computadora real. Es increíble por este precio. Si estás buscando una tablet realmente buena, te la recomiendo. También puedes hacer capturas de pantalla. Ahora la conectamos, presionando conectar. Y mira qué bonito es. Se necesitan baterías para el mouse. Realmente súper genial. Y este es el lápiz óptico. Realmente excepcional que incluya todas estas cosas. Tiene un precio absolutamente increíble. Haz clic ahora en el enlace aquí abajo para obtener la tuya ahora.
Nasty, man. Look at these motherfuckers how close.
Lives. That's where real confidence is
I
born.
was right
That's where
there,
the game changes,
man.
not on your screen.
If you get over here,
In your mind.
I get on
So
my
ask
money.
yourself honestly, are you trading the setup, or are you trading your need to be
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because the edge isn't in the strategy, it's not in the indicator, it's in the ability to follow your process regardless of outcome. And when you master that, you stop trading like a gambler and start operating like a pro. Everyone's looking for it. The holy grail. The secret sauce, the edge that will finally unlock consistent profits. Some search forums, others buy courses, most scroll YouTube endlessly, hoping for one more video, one more breakthrough, one more magic bullet. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You don't find your edge, you forge it. And forging is not discovery, it's not luck, it's not waiting for something to appear in your inbox. Forging is fire. Forging is failure. Forging is repetition, discomfort, and brutal honesty. Because your edge isn't out there in someone else's system. It's in here, inside your scars, your story, your style. Let's say that again. Your edge is personal. Your edge is earned. Michael Marcus didn't stumble into his. He built it, trade by trade, loss by loss, setback by painful, humbling setback. He blew up his account 7 times. 7. And on the 8th attempt, something clicked. Not because he found a better strategy, but because he found something better within himself. He stopped trying to be smart, stopped trying to prove anything, and started doing the one thing that most traders never do, follow his rules, even when it hurt. That shift, not in charts, but in character, was the birth of his edge. Let me ask you something. Look at your last 50 trades. Where did you make money consistently? Which conditions? What time of day? What setup? What mindset? Because I guarantee you, if you zoom out and review without judgment, you'll start to see a pattern. Not in the market, in you. Maybe you crush breakouts in trending markets, but bleed during chop. Maybe you nail morning moves, but fade in the afternoon. Maybe your win rate doubles when you only trade the first 2 hours of the day. That's your edge whispering to you. Not screaming, not dancing in a Telegram group, just whispering. But you're too busy chasing someone else's edge to hear it. You think edge means more indicators, more rules, more complexity. But the best traders know edge is in subtraction, not addition. Edge lives in simplicity. It's not the number of tools you use, it's how precisely you use the ones that actually work. William O'Neill ran canceling for decades, 7 variables, that's it. He didn't add more, he went deeper into what already worked. He knew depth beats variety every time. So here's what you need to understand. Your edge is not something you find. It's not buried in a YouTube playlist or hidden in a Discord. Your edge is a reflection of who you are and who you're willing to become. If you're impulsive, scalping might destroy you. If you're impatient, swing trading might torture you. If you hate uncertainty, trend following might eat you alive. That's not weakness, that's self-awareness. The goal isn't to become someone else. The goal is to build a system that aligns with your natural strengths and protects your weaknesses. Because the most profitable edge in the world is worthless if you can't execute it consistently. Let me give it to you straight. Your edge must match your psychology. Think of it like this. Jim Rogers traveled the world. Literally, that was his edge. Global insight, macro awareness, first-hand observation. George Soros, his edge was reflexivity. A unique understanding of how perception shapes reality. Completely different style, completely different brain, both wildly successful. Why? Because they traded their strengths, not someone else's playbook. That's your mission now. Not to find a system, but to forge your own. Start with what already works. Forget new. Study your winners. Obsess over your patterns. Document everything. Every setup, every context, every emotional state. After 100 trades, you see it. You're not trading the market. You're trading your own statistical tendencies. And when you spot that pattern, go deeper, sharpen it, specialize. If you're good at breakouts, dabble in reversals. Become a breakout sniper. Study time of day, volume surges, failed breakouts, continuation patterns. Refine it until you can trade it in your sleep, because that's what a real edge looks like. Clarity, simplicity, repeatability. It's not about being right, it's about being reliable. An edge isn't sexy, it's boring. It's disciplined, it's brutally honest, and most importantly, it's yours. But don't get it twisted. Even the best edge will be tested. The market will change, conditions will shift, and you'll start to doubt it. This is where most traders lose it. They abandon what works the moment it stops working temporarily. They mistake noise for signal, and they reset the clock on their learning curve again and again. But you'll know better. You'll know that forging an edge doesn't mean it never breaks. It means you're strong enough to rebuild it over and over. With clarity, data, and self-trust. So stop looking outside. Stop asking what works out there. start asking what works for me and how do I double down on it? Because when you forge an edge that matches your psychology, when you stop chasing and start refining, when you build something so familiar, so intuitive, so disciplined, that it becomes second nature, that's when you stop trading charts and start trading with conviction. No one plans to blow up their account. No trader opens the platform and says, today I'm going to lose control. But it happens.
Para retiros sin problemas y sin comisiones, solo hay un lugar. Mrkts, born to trade.
No one plans to blow up their account. No trader opens the platform and says, today I'm going to lose control. But it happens again and again. Not because you're stupid,
bajan alrededor de 250.000 kilómetros.
Diablo, pero qué mal.
A mis abogados defensores quiero decirles lo siguiente. Romper el silencio sobre graves actos de corrupción cuando sus máximos alfiles aún tienen poder político y público requiere de garantías judiciales. Como testigo clave en un proceso judicial de alto impacto y de interés nacional, debo dirigirme a las autoridades competentes y al país en general para pedir garantías reales y verdades completas. Mi cooperación y compromiso con la verdad han sido eficaces, contundentes y suficientes para que la justicia colombiana haya decidido enviar a prisión a varios implicados en el escándalo de corrupción de la Unidad Nacional para la Gestión del Riesgo. Entre ellos, a quienes intentaron sobornarme con 13.000 millones de pesos a cambio de mi silencio o de omitir información clave y relevante sobre altos funcionarios públicos. Sin embargo, aún no hay respuestas claras y concretas. ¿Quién o quiénes pagarían la millonaria suma de dinero? ¿Quién o quiénes son los verdaderos responsables de querer silenciarme? ¿Son los mismos que realizaron amenazas en mi contra y en contra de mi familia? Es fundamental y necesario para que el país conozca la verdad y para que los máximos responsables paguen, así como lo estoy haciendo yo por sus actos, que las investigaciones continúen. La justicia debe operar para todos, no solo para los mandos medios y para los más débiles. Confirmo una vez más a la opinión pública, al país y a mi familia que sigo y seguiré colaborando con la justicia, que no tengo intenciones de irme de este mundo y que mi arrepentimiento con Colombia es tan grande que lamento cada segundo, cada minuto, cada día los actos de corrupción que cometí.
I wanted to take a minute to give a shout out to my friend Hawk.
Check out what far-right extremist hate group Baytar had to say about the Superman movie. On Twitter, this is a tweet, it's very long. I am a man boiling with rage. Yesterday, I went with my son to watch the new Superman movie. Superman, the ultimate superhero, a character created by two Jewish immigrants, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, in the 1930s. The character is supposed to represent hope, justice, and light. The actor playing Superman, Jewish. The studios, owned by Jews. Even the character of Superman himself, symbolically and historically, is considered to have Jewish roots. A refugee sent from crisis and war to save a better world, created to empower the Jews who returned from the Holocaust. And what did the pathetic progressives in Hollywood do? They trampled all over this. Instead of presenting a character who defends the weak and fights for justice, they turned it into a disgusting political caricature where Israel, under a different name, is portrayed as a fascist state, a warmonger, and a close ally of the U.S., which supplies advanced weaponry to fight poor and miserable farmers, parentheses, the good Palestinians, with pitchforks and stones. And Superman, he comes to save them from bloodthirsty Israel. This is literally a film of incitement against us. I sat there next to my son watching how the film had one purpose, to brainwash the world. They took the ultimate childhood hero who was supposed to represent absolute good and turned him into a one-sided, distorted, superficial propaganda tool. They ruined my childhood. They ruined the experience for me. But not only for me, they ruined it for the next generation. Because my son, with his innocent eyes, asks me, Dad, why is Superman against Israel? Isn't he Jewish? So let's talk about hypocrisy, about how the progressive Jewish studio owners who hate Israel hide behind this movie, sitting in their luxurious homes in California, feeling safe in their ivory towers. Aside from having a bar mitzvah for their dog, they have no connection to Judaism and continue to disconnect from the homeland that was founded on the ruins of the people who behaved like them in Europe in the 1930s. It will come back to them like a boomerang. No matter how much they decorate their houses for Christmas, they will pay the price because history always repeats itself. They are turning Israelis into the bad guys, the Palestinians into the good guys, and missiles and terrorism into the struggle of freedom fighters. This is their coffin nail as they align with the politically correct studios of Walt Disney. So yes, I am offended, I am angry, I am disgusted, they are cowards, and I will tell you here clearly, the liberal Jews in America are the main contributors to anti-Semitism in the US. They and the push for progressivism in America, the takeover of communication and financial power, and the use of tools to brainwash our children in order to spread your distorted nonsense. Take your hands off Superman, because those who believe in goodness, justice, family, and identity are we. You, your God, is money, nothing more. You are nothing but zeros. Check out what far-right extremist hate group Beitar had to say about the Superman movie. On Twitter, this is a tweet, it's very long. I am a man boiling with rage. Yesterday I went with my son to watch the new Superman movie. Superman, the ultimate superhero, a character created by two Jewish immigrants, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, in the 1930s. The character is supposed to represent hope, justice, and light. The actor playing Superman, Jewish. The studios, owned by Jews. Even the character of Superman himself, symbolically and historically, is considered to have Jewish roots. A refugee sent from crisis and war to save a better world, created to empower the Jews who returned from the Holocaust. And what did the pathetic progressives in Hollywood do? They trampled all over this. Instead of presenting a character who defends the weak and fights for justice, they turned it into a disgusting political caricature where Israel, under a different name, is portrayed as a fascist state, a warmonger, and a close ally of the US, which supplies advanced weaponry to fight poor and miserable farmers, parentheses, the good Palestinians, with pitchforks and stones. In Superman, he comes to save them from bloodthirsty Israel. This is literally a film of incitement against us. I sat there next to my son watching how the film had one purpose, to brainwash the world. They took the ultimate childhood hero who was supposed to represent absolute good and turned him into a one-sided, distorted, and superficial propaganda tool. They ruined my childhood, they ruined the experience for me. But not only for me, they ruined it for the next generation. Because my son, with his innocent eyes, asks me, Dad, why is Superman against Israel? Isn't he Jewish? So let's talk about hypocrisy, about how the progressive Jewish studio owners who hate Israel hide behind this movie, sitting in their luxurious homes in California, feeling safe in their ivory towers. Aside from having a bar mitzvah for their dog, they have no connection to Judaism and continue to disconnect from the homeland that was founded on the ruins of the people who behaved like them in Europe in the 1930s. It will come back to them like a boomerang. No matter how much they decorate their houses for Christmas, they will pay the price because history always repeats itself. They are turning Israelis into the bad guys, the Palestinians into the good guys, and missiles and terrorism into the struggle of freedom fighters. This is their coffin nail as they align with the politically correct studios of Walt Disney. So yes, I am offended, I am angry, I am disgusted, they are cowards, and I will tell you here clearly, the liberal Jews in America are the main contributors to anti-Semitism in the US. They and the push for progressivism in America, the takeover of communication and financial power, and the use of tools to brainwash our children in order to spread your distorted nonsense. Take your hands off Superman, because those who believe in goodness, justice, family, and identity are we. You, your God, is money, nothing more. You are nothing but zeros. Check out what far-right extremist hate group Beitar had to say about the Superman movie. On Twitter, this is a tweet, it's very long. I am a man boiling with rage. Yesterday I went with my son to watch the new Superman movie. Superman, the ultimate superhero, a character created by two Jewish immigrants, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, in the 1930s. The character is supposed to represent hope, justice, and light. The actor playing Superman, Jewish. The studios, owned by Jews. Even the character of Superman himself, symbolically and historically, is considered to have Jewish roots. A refugee sent from crisis and war to save a better world, created to empower the Jews who returned from the Holocaust. And what did the pathetic progressives in Hollywood do? They trampled all over this. Instead of presenting a character who defends the weak and fights for justice, they turned it into a disgusting political caricature where Israel, under a different name, is portrayed as a fascist state, a warmonger, and a close ally of the US, which supplies advanced weaponry to fight poor and miserable farmers, parentheses, the good Palestinians, with pitchforks and stones. In Superman, he comes to save them from bloodthirsty Israel. This is literally a film of incitement against us. sat there next to my son watching how the film had one purpose, to brainwash the world. They took the ultimate childhood hero who was supposed to represent absolute good and turned him into a one-sided, distorted, superficial propaganda tool. They ruined my childhood. They ruined the experience for me. But not only for me, they ruined it for the next generation.
I wanted to take a minute to give a shout out to my friend Hawk. A lot of you know that Hawk and I have known each other for like over 20 years. And in that time, like, it hasn't been all, puppies and rainbows. We've had ups and downs and, been through this shit together for sure. But no matter what's going on in each of our lives, the thing that never changes between us is we've always made time and
Damn, that 2 o'clock fucking candle. Look at that shit.
we
Holy
challenge each other
mackerel.
to do better and be better. And we try to help each other make better decisions, or at least like make less of the same bad decision over and over again. You do what you can. So it occurred to me that that's a pretty rare and special friendship. And the other thing about us is that we're always genuinely happy for each other when the other one has success. And I love that part, right? Like, be excited for your friends, because that's what love are, though, see. But respect that friendship, because those are few and far between. And those relationships, they take work. So go out there, do the work, as people say. If you haven't seen the live with Hawk and T. Miller, go check it out. Give it some love. Like it, comment, follow.
Vives en Latinoamérica y estás buscando maximizar tus ahorros. Este video es para vos. When you look at all of the money we threw into Homeland Security after 9/11, we put a lot of money into new FBI agents, other corners of federal law enforcement. But the pitch there was a very patriotic one. It was, come be the front line of defense, join an elite counter-terror force, be the first line of defense against Al-Qaeda. That's not the hiring pitch that ICE is making right now in social media clips, in Fox News stories, in news headlines. It is, are you someone who gets really excited to dress up like you are storming Fallujah in tactical gear with long guns to go round up some roofers in the Home Depot parking lot?
Hello, and welcome to the Politics Girl podcast. I'm your host, Megan Allen. Let's get into it. Anyone looking around America right now can see that what's happening with ICE is not only a tremendous waste of money, but a shocking infringement on our constitutional and human rights. To talk about border and immigration enforcement, I am joined today by Garrett Graff, the best-selling historian and Pulitzer Prize finalist who spent nearly 2 decades covering politics, technology, and national security. A former teacher at Georgetown, Garrett is the author of 9 books on topics ranging from presidential campaigns to Watergate, 9/11, and cybersecurity. Garrett is known for using history to explain the story of where we've been, to better reflect where we're headed. You can read his work in multiple publications, but he has a regular newsletter called Doomsday Scenario that's really worth checking out. I'm having him on today to really dig into one of his most recent posts, published in Mother Jones, titled Why Spending $200 Billion on ICE is a Terrible Idea. So without further ado, please welcome my guest, historian, award-winning journalist, and best-selling author, Garrett Graff. Welcome, Garrett.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. I mean, I read this article that you wrote, and I was just like, yeah, that's exactly right. Like, it's just such a clear way of saying it. I think so many of us don't understand what's going on with ICE except to know what we see through our social media. And it's sort of wonderful to see you break it down why this was such a bad idea. You were saying that there's many reasons why Trump's new domestic agenda, as it's laid out in the Big Beautiful Bill, is going to be such a tragedy for the country. He wrote that not only is it mean-spirited and life-wrecking and community-destroying with all the cuts to our social safety net and healthcare and food assistance, but also that we're doing it for the blatant reason of just giving more tax breaks to the wealthiest, to the people that don't even need it. And you wrote in your article, how cruel do you have to be to raise taxes on people making less than $15,000 a year? Who are you if you're looking at that group of people and thinking like, yeah, those people have it too easy, and it's the billionaires who really need more?
Yeah, I think that this bill is a statement of a whole series of public policy priorities that I don't know why you would get into public service to further. This bill reflects a country that is not the country that I like to believe that America is, that I sort of like to think we are a kinder, nicer, more caring country than the country that shows up in this bill. There has been a lot of evidence over the last 10 years in American politics that I am wrong about the country that we are, but I still, in my heart of hearts, think that this is not reflective, at least, of the tradition of public service that I think motivates most people who get into government and politics.
politics.
And you say that basically, I mean, I'm looking at what's behind you for people that can't see it. Mrkts listing the spot. You have a Nixon poster, you have a Goldwater poster. Like, you would be, I'm assuming, some sort of a traditional conservative or Republican, and yet you're looking at this same budget when you say, show me your budget, I'll show you my values. And this budget does not match with the values of what we're seeing from this current Republican government.
My Nixon Goldwater is actually a reflection of my time writing about Nixon in the book that I did on Watergate. So
Facts.
what I call it, I grew up in Vermont. I lived in Vermont. I worked for when he was governor of Vermont, and then when he was running president. And in most of the rest of the country, in traditional terms, Howard Dean would be a Republican.
Classic centrist, right?
Classic centrist. And I think one of the things that I believe in my heart of hearts in politics is that the role of government is to help smooth out the unlucky. That we are all unlucky at various times in our lives. It is one of the few things that we have no control over in our lives, whether it's a health scare, whether it's a family scare, whether it's a community scare.
Children are there. They advise that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing.
We've got the new and that's on the road and walking on the road. And we're there to witness the conversation. That's the girls on the trail.
Children are there. They advise that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing.
And that's on the road and walking on the road. And we're there to witness the conversation. That's the girls on the trail.
Children are there. They advise that their parents were assaulted. One was possibly stabbed. The parents are missing.
That's on the road and walking on the road. And we're there to witness the conversation. That's the girls on the trail.
No joking. Hi, no joking in this video. This is a warning, specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody. Something truly disturbing just happened to me. I just stopped for gas on my way home, and while I was there, I wanted a beverage, so I went to go inside. So as I'm walking in, I am approached by a child. I mean, this kid, he was maybe 14 years old, and he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, can you buy me some Feel Free?" I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I said, "Do you need food or something?" And he said, "No, I can feel free." And I was like, "I'm sorry, no." And this young kid lunged at me and tried to take my wallet out of my hand. I grabbed it really fast and I just went inside. So I go inside, I grab my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there, he was asking me to buy something for him, and like try to grab my wallet." And she seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, oh, what's that? Like a 5-hour energy? And she was like, no, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5-6 times a day to get this. I grabbed my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there, he was asking me to buy something for him, and he like tried to grab my wallet, and she was just like, oh my gosh, it's this. And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, oh, what's that? Like a 5-hour energy? And she was like, no, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5-6 times a day to get this. It's so addictive. And people lose their minds. People act like actual crackheads, or like they have heroin addictions over this little drink. So I get home and I look into this. People are literally going to rehab over this drink that is legal in most states in the US. And she was like, no, this stuff is so sad. I have people come there, he was asking me to buy something for him and like try to grab my wallet, and she was just like, oh my gosh, it's this. And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, oh, what's that? Like a 5-hour energy? And she was like, no, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5-6 times a day to get this. It's so addictive. And people lose their minds. People act like actual crackheads, or like they have heroin addictions over this little drink. So I get home and I look into this. People are literally going to rehab over this drink that is legal in most states in the US, that is sold at gas stations. I mean, it's called Feel Free, but traps you in addiction. That feels very nefarious. But I don't think that we talk enough about things that are legal but sold next to gum and energy drinks. And yeah, this kid was so young, and like his face was like just burned in my memory about how lost he looks. So please be careful. Hi, no joking in this video. This is a warning, specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody. Something truly disturbing just happened to me. I just stopped for gas on my way home, and while I was there, I wanted a beverage, so I went to go inside. So as I'm walking in, I am approached by a child. I mean, this kid, he was maybe 14 years old, and he comes up to me and he says, hey, can you buy me some Feel Free? I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I said, do you need food or something? And he said, no, I need Feel Free. And I was like, I'm sorry, no. And this young kid lunged at me and tried to take my wallet out of my hand. I grabbed it really fast and I just went inside. So I go inside, I grab my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there, he was asking me to buy something for him, and he like tried to grab my wallet, and she was just like, oh my gosh, it's this. And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, oh, what's that? Like a 5-hour energy? And she was like, no, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5-6 times a day to get this. It's so addictive. And people lose their minds. People act like actual crackheads, or like they have heroin addictions over this little drink. So I get home and I look into this. People are literally going to rehab over this drink that is legal in most states in the US, that is sold at gas stations. I mean, it's called Feel Free, but traps you in addiction. That feels very nefarious. But I don't think that we talk enough about things that are legal but sold next to gum and energy drinks. And yeah, this kid was so young, and like his face is like just burned in my memory about how lost he looks. So please be careful. Hi, no joking in this video. This is a warning, specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody. Something truly disturbing just happened to me.
I just stopped for gas on my way home. And while I was there, I wanted a beverage. So I went to go inside. So as I'm walking in, I am approached by a child. I mean, this kid, he was maybe 14 years old. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, can you buy me some Feel Free?" I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I said, "Do you need food or something?" And he said, "No, I need Feel Free." And I was like, "I'm sorry, no." And this young kid lunged at me and tried to take my wallet out of my hand. I grabbed it really fast and I just went inside. So I go inside, I grab my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there. He was asking me to buy something for him, and he like tried to grab my wallet." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's this." And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, "Oh, what's that? Like a 5 hour energy?" And she was like, "No, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5, 6 times a day to get this. It's so addictive, and people lose their minds. People act like actual crackheads, or like they have heroin addictions over this little drink." So I get home and I look into this. People are literally going to rehab over this drink that is legal in most states in the U.S. that is sold at gas stations. I mean, it's called Feel Free, but drives to an addiction. That feels very nefarious. But I don't think that we talk enough about things that are legal but sold next to gum and energy drinks. And yeah, this kid was so young, and like his face is like just burned in my memory about how lost he looks. So please be careful. Hi, no joking in this video. This is a warning specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody. Something truly disturbing just happened to me. I just stopped for gas on my way home. And while I was there, I wanted a beverage. So I went to go inside. So as I'm walking in, I am approached by a child. I mean, this kid, he was maybe 14 years old. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, can you buy me some Feel Free?" I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I said, "Do you need food or something?" And he said, "No, I need Feel Free." And I was like, "I'm sorry, no." And this young kid lunged at me and tried to take my wallet out of my hand. I grabbed it really fast and I just went inside. So I go inside, I grab my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there. He was asking me to buy something for him, and he like tried to grab my wallet." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's this." And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, "Oh, what's that? Like a 5 hour energy?" And she was like, "No, this stuff is so sad. I have people coming in here 5, 6 times a day to get this. It's so addictive, and people lose their minds. People act like actual crackheads, or like they have heroin addictions over this little drink." So I get home and I look into this. People are literally going to rehab over this drink that is legal in most states in the U.S. that is sold at gas stations. I mean, it's called Feel Free, but drives to an addiction. That feels very nefarious. But I don't think that we talk enough about things that are legal but sold next to gum and energy drinks. And yeah, this kid was so young, and like his face is like just burned in my memory about how lost he looks. So please be careful. Hi, no joking in this video. This is a warning specifically for parents, but I guess really for anybody. Something truly disturbing just happened to me. I just stopped for gas on my way home. And while I was there, I wanted a beverage. So I went to go inside. So as I'm walking in, I am approached by a child. I mean, this kid, he was maybe 14 years old. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, can you buy me some Feel Free?" I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I said, "Do you need food or something?" And he said, "No, I need Feel Free." And I was like, "I'm sorry, no." And this young kid lunged at me and tried to take my wallet out of my hand. I grabbed it really fast and I just went inside. So I go inside, I grab my drink, I go up to the cashier, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, there's like some kid out there. He was asking me to buy something for him, and he like tried to grab my wallet." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's this." And she pointed to this little blue bottle on the counter that I've never seen before. Looks like that. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?"
I was like, oh, what's that? Wow. But Fluke's back. We are here to celebrate Trump's.
These are the three groups of.
Yes, that's what one time on Monday morning I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office. And Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them. And the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me because they had determined that the women that they brought down were underage to be on the casino. And when I asked how they knew that, by the way, one of them was the number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, Jack, I know she's 19 years old. One time on Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. Two buddies. They had three women with them, and the commission was waiting for me used to be out of the casino. And when I asked them how they knew that, by the way, one of them was number 3 ranked tennis player in the world. Okay, and this guy happened to be a tennis fan, and he said, "Jack, I know she's 19 years old." One time of Monday morning, I came in and the commission was waiting, the inspectors were waiting at my office, and Donald and Jeffrey had come into the casino in the wee hours of Sunday morning, 1:30 in the morning. You know, 2 buddies. They had 3 women with them.
What they help them check.